Hello everyone and welcome to another Art of War live stream. Today we are here to break down our tier list of every army in Warhammer 40,000. I'm joined today by Jack Harpster and we're going to be reviewing a video that we made a while ago that may or may not be currently up to date.
Yeah, this is really snake eating its own tail of content right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Art of War reacts to Art of War.
Art of War reacts to the meta. But a lot's changed since then. And you're going to see some pretty dramatic rearranging of our tier list, actually.
Indeed, that is what you're going to see. If you like this kind of content, if you like tier lists on a Thursday, this is actually a discussion show, don't worry. But if you like this content, please like the content, share with your friends, leave a comment, let us know what you think about either the last tier list or the current one, and of course, subscribe to the channel. We like to put out several free videos every week, and if you subscribe to the channel, you'll get notified every time we release them. That way, you get to watch them. Of course, if you want to see even more amazing 40K content, such as 2 additional coaching matches, 3 total a week, you can find that in The Worm. That's a link in the description below, theworm.vhx.tv. We also have our post-game analyses. We have the Vaunted Jack Theory. We have the Know Thy Enemies series. We have tons of content, and all of it comes with access to the Art of War Discord, where we have a vibrant international community.
All right. So, there's a tier list that happened.
There was.
And this was Richard and Michael. They made the tier list. Now,
we were throwing them under the bus here.
Couple things. One, a lot has changed since then. there have been some things, there have been some developments. So you're going to see some big changes. That does not mean that they made like mistakes. It just means things have changed. In addition, every tier list is the opinions of basically the 2 people who are on it. We all have our own different takes on the meta. So we're going to see what we agree with and what we disagree with.
Yeah. And then, of course, the biggest piece of context is that tier list was recorded right at the start. And sometimes you play games and you realize things after the fact. Like, oh, wow, that 5-point change did a little more than I thought it was going to.
Yes.
Every once in a while you get one of those popping up, such as what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah. There's I mean, let's dive right in, shall we?
All right. So what we've got here is this is the old tier list. So this is where we had it, and we'll run through it really quickly. This is what we had the tier list at in about middle of December, which is over a month ago, like maybe 5 weeks ago or so.
Yep, stuff had just released.
So 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, basically. So we have Ultramarines and S tier alongside Guard and Blood Angels. We have in A tier, we have Adeptus Mechanicus and Sisters. They got knocked a little bit with the balance slate. As well as Dark Angels, Death Watch, Drukhari, Space Wolves, Emperor's Children, World Eaters, and Thousand Sons.
Yep.
In B tier, we have Chaos Knights, Eldar, Black Templars, Leagues of Votann, Chaos Space Marines, Grey Knights, Tau, Death Guard, and GSC. They're not going to stay there, don't worry. And then in in C tier, we have Necrons, Tyranids, Orks, Imperial Knights, Custodes, Demons. And then in D tier, we have a fake army, unfortunately.
Rest in peace, Agents. Oh, look at that. We've already given Agents more attention than GW has.
Yep, that's, so they're going to stay in D tier.
And we will mention them again.
So starting from the bottom, now we're here. We have Agents in D tier, and they're gonna gosh darn stay there.
Yeah, until Games Workshop gives this army an army rule or acknowledges it or gives it balanced attention at all, it's just going to stay as a fun army to play if you're looking for a distraction from your main army for 1 RTT.
Maybe you're playing your little brother.
Absolutely. If I were trying to teach someone how to play Warhammer, I actually wouldn't want to play Agents because then they might realize that they exist and try to play them.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah, no, you don't. It's better not to tell your little brother that Agents exists because you'll save him several $100s of kill team.
Yeah, alternatively, in a year, you can be like, hey, remember when I beat you?
Agents?
That was with Agents, dog. I got that over you forever.
You know what? I do hold that over Quentin. I'm like, hey, Quentin, want to know with Agents, lifetime.
I've beaten Nick with Agents.
Oh, that's rough.
That's rough. That was his Warhost Eldar too.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah.
So Agents, unfortunately, are just not being. They're just not a real army, and I'm sorry because I really wish they were. And there is the ability to make them a real army, and it appears that Games Workshop is not interested in taking those steps.
Yes, they kill light infantry very well, which is why I did beat Nick.
100%.
They don't do literally anything else.
Not at all.
Literally a single other thing.
Not even a single thing. One quick thing that I want to mention before we actually get down to the first real army is if you super chat us during this video, we appreciate it. We see it. We will answer all super chats towards the end of the video. So we do see them. We will read them, but we are going to get through the topic, and then we'll answer our super chats at the end of the live stream.
Okay, first real army on this tier list is demons.
Yes, demons is what we, Art of War, collectively, all of us in agreement, have ranked as the worst real army in the game as of December 14th.
As of December 14th. Now, has that changed at all?
I do believe that has changed.
Yeah, they're going to go from worst real army to one of the best. And brief aside here, we had a talk at before we started this stream. We think like fully half of the armies in the game are A tier right now.
Yeah.
Like, maybe more even.
Yeah, like we see S tier as this army is objectively too good and needs to be actively toned down in at least one aspect.
Yes.
Maybe more, depending on the S tier army question. And then like A tier we see as this is a really good army that can like win large tournaments.
And right now that's like
more than half
of the armies in the game.
I think more than half of the armies are going to be an A or S if I had to, like, you know, we'll see exactly how it shakes out. But I genuinely do feel that while there's a couple of outliers in each direction, some up here, you know, we've got the Ultramarines and the GSEs of the world. There's a lot of armies that I think can do really well right now.
Yeah. For context, our PC guy, Tucker, you may have seen, is an avid GSC main. And so I do enjoy...
That's just cruel.
Poking him. Yeah, no, it's bad of me, man. I'm a bad man. I'm evil.
Bad man. So demons, I think we're going to elevate quite a lot here. Obviously, the top build of demons, and we are ranking all demons together here, is Scintillating Legion. Certainly seems like it is the best build. And to be fair, if you haven't been shot by the funky chickens, it gets rough.
They sting.
Yeah, it's a weird thing where I think like the chickens were not good recently, and so we never actually saw them with the Be'lakor buffs. Of like reroll ones to hit on the ballistic skill 2 sustained D3 unit.
Forgot they ruled ones to hit, yes.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
And like they're all 18-inch guns, so by the time they're shooting, it actually usually is like you're using Bellacor's buff while you're staging, and then by the time you're ready to go, it's like, and look at that.
Reroll ones to hit.
Reroll ones to hit. And they get really efficient and a lot less swingy. And also that D3 damage being flat 3 just carves through certain profiles.
Yeah, so this army may have always been viable. It probably was. But the main issue with it, was that it didn't do very consistent, reliable damage. It had damage issues, basically. It doesn't anymore. On average, it has a 50% damage boost to every chicken.
Yeah, and it's also a lot less spiky.
It's a lot less spiky. You don't roll 1-1 on the damage.
And we even saw that there was some good showings by Scintillating Legion before the buff. There not many. But like, you know, I think, you know, some of the players in Germany actually took it over here to the World Champions Warhammer, did fairly well, had like a strong winning record, but not the kind of results we're seeing now. Now, I think demons are going firmly into A tier.
Yep, I would say towards the top of A tier.
I would say towards the top. Let's conservatively put them up like behind Admech maybe. That's conservatively, I say, as I put them to a top 5 army in the game. Yeah, I did do that, didn't I? Conservatively, let's say they're the 5th best army in the game.
Yeah, conservatively, I think we can do that. We probably are going to move them around a little bit, but yeah, I mean, that seems pretty real. So you take an army that was probably viable, had a bunch of jank, and then staple 50% extra damage onto it. Turns out it's going to do a lot of damage. And demons have been taken over a bit, right? I know you took them to LVT, not you personally, but Robbo.
Our team did.
Yeah.
I think Matt, hold on, let me do some quick math.
Matt Robertson.
Yeah, so Matt Robertson took them to LVTT for us. There's 100 possible diff points. I think he scored like 89.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, he had like 114, an 18, a 19, and maybe 2 20s or 2 high teens. Like, I don't know. Every round I was like, how's it going, Robbo? He's like, oh, it's going pretty good. And then I was like, come back an hour later, and he's still playing. I'm like, how's it going, Robbo? And then I look and I see that all 5 like big monsters are alive in the opponent's deployment zone. I'm like, oh.
So it's like that, huh?
So it's like that, yeah.
Yeah, they can, pick up 2 models out of combat and teleport them back down?
That is correct.
Yeah.
So anyways, the point is we're not going to leave them in C tier.
Yes,
and
they're not staying there.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. So the next army on the list for us is going to be Adeptus Custodes. Another army that is probably moving up in the world. Now, you've got some opinion. Unfortunately.
So the reason I don't...
happy to see this.
No, I'm not. Because this is my brief rant on Custodes. The army's boring and miserable. Unfortunately, it has no faction identity and is just not very fun. The faction identity it has right now is it has become cheap enough that you can just take a lot of stuff.
I love it when bad data sheets become cheap and then become good data sheets again.
Yep.
Lovely cycle.
They're just bad data sheets because they don't do anything other than be cheap and run at you. And that's like literally it.
But they have a 2-up save while they're cheap and run at you.
I mean, I love Custodes. I have my Custodes army, etc., etc. I'm not feeling the urge to really play them because it doesn't feel like Custodes. It doesn't feel very fun.
Yeah,
but it is an all right army. I will say that. But like, man, that's just, what are we doing here? Like, what makes me feel happy playing this army on the table?
Yeah, and what we're referring to is this build that has kind of gotten a little bit cheaper and cheaper, and finally it feels like it's arrived, which was what Folger brought to the Las Vegas team tournament. He was on the other Art of War team, the one that ended up getting first place. And what was his list exactly? Was it like 27?
27 Custodian Guard. It was 3 Land Raiders. It was Draxus, and then it was either 3 or 4 units of Witch Seekers / Prosecutors. I mean, it's a lot of stuff. Also, if you want to see it played, next Wednesday, me and Folger are going to fight it out live with my LVTT Blood Angels list versus his LVTT Custodes list in the Art of War Discord. And
it's kind of rude of you to schedule a game of S tier versus C tier.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, it's not going to stay as C tier and also not going to stay as S tier, but that is all right. Yeah, so we're going to be playing each other Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it's a live event, so if you're in our Discord, you can come check it out. And if you're not in our Discord, there's a free 3-day trial, so you can check that out as well.
Very, very cool. I'm excited to see that. So 3 Land Raiders, all these guards, you're just taking too many cheap data sheets. This isn't good into everything in the game, but it's shockingly good into a shocking amount of the game.
Yeah, it's also good into birds because all their guns are psychic, and that detachment, Talons of the Emperor, has a 5-up Feel No Pain against psychic, or a 4-up. Now, you do have to have Prosecutors and Witch Seekers nearby, which they can maybe pick off, but regardless.
So, like, where do you want to put this army? Because I think that there's going to be a couple things we're going to talk about, like Necrons, where it's just like you really don't love the Necron game. But also, this is good into a lot of the meta, if not all of the meta.
Yeah. Now, notably, you're going to see a lot of Catan running around the meta right now. And Custodes gets rocked by Catan.
Yep.
Really bad, actually. So that's not going to help it out very much. I don't see it going higher than bottom of A, top of B. And I think that's me being very generous.
Being generous to the army that scored 100 out of 100 points at LVTT?
Sure. I've done that too.
With a top of B tier army?
Yep. Probably.
Okay. I'd like to see them in A over the top.
I can say bottom A, but that's the highest I'm willing to go.
Bottom of A.
If we put it any higher than that, I'm going to cry, and you don't want me to do
so let's put it at the bottom of A, and when we get to the other armies, we'll just slowly move them below Custodes.
We're not doing that.
And
it's the lowest in A, final offer.
Absolutely. It's the lowest in A, and then we'll just go address all those other armies.
It's the lowest in A forever and ever, amen.
Yeah, I think that's not a realistic appraisal. All right, so off of Custodes now, we're coming to Imperial Knights, an army that we've seen some movement on, where some people do seem to enjoy the just taking 5 bigs and running them at people. But I haven't seen it have these really consistent results yet.
Yeah, I've seen that list. It seems very scary. It seems a little binary, maybe a bit of a teams list. I remain unconvinced as to how well it will do in a singles event.
I actually am interested in keeping it in C tier.
Keeping it in C tier?
Yeah, honestly. I think that the Imperial Knight list, it has some interesting counterplays, like I'm just a big stat check. And there's a lot of those running around right now, and I don't think that Knights is the best one of those running around right now.
I think in teams it goes up significantly higher. I will say that.
That I can agree with. But do you think it's B tier higher? Or like I'd be willing to go higher up in C tier, to be clear. I don't think it's like the worst in the game, but I figure we can leave it, and then since everyone else has to be moved still, we can just put them relative to Knights. Yeah,
I mean, probably if we're grading on a curve, right? Probably it's in C tier for grading on a curve. It's possible. I don't play Knights. Yeah. It's possible it's in B tier, right? And I think in teams it becomes a significantly better army because you can avoid the very hard counter matchups.
I just worry that in a world where Catan are running around, that a lot of armies are taking a lot of dedicated high damage. And if you just get pinned by them and your plan is, I have 3 Lancers and 2 Atropos, and that's like 2k. And then I play against someone who can lift 2 Knights in a turn.
It gets a little harsh.
You
pair them to the Volgons, for example. That's 2 right there.
That's a bad place to be.
Yeah. So,
but all problems get better if you roll a lot of 4s.
That is true. You always have the out of rolling 4s. I mean, God bless Custodes,
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, probably top of C or somewhere in C.
Yeah, I think we'll leave it as that now. We'll kind of put the other armies around it. So Orks are up next. I don't have much that I think has changed with Orks.
Not really, no.
I've seen some people trying some cool things. Like I've seen Dread Mob being pushed as like maybe an interesting way to play Orks. Everyone always wants to talk about, Gaz and 20 boys. I haven't seen that manifest as like an actually really tournament viable army at the moment. I think they're better than Knights, but I don't think they're escape in C tier.
No, probably not. There's a lot of viable builds for Orks. There's Warhorde, there's Bully Boys, there's Dread Mob, that's about it. Maybe Tactical. I don't know. I haven't heard that name. That's a name I haven't heard in many years. But
Tank Busters never got bad, just so we're clear.
Never
became bad.
But like when you look at what other armies can do, and I feel like Orks just have to work a lot harder to get their dubs.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably Orks are gonna go down there for sure.
Yeah. So I think I'm okay with Orks in C tier.
They are decent at killing Catan. They're pretty good at it actually, because you have Gaz, you have lethal sustain 5s,
so
4 reels to hit.
So when you're doing the math at a table, I 100% agree. Here's the problem: you cannot engage the Deceiver with enough Orks to kill it. I'm not joking.
You can if you take Gazgul. He just bases his giant base, and everyone just goes. Everyone's hyping him up.
I hear you. That's still like not enough. It's not like these are crit 5s full rerolls.
It's crit 5s full rerolls if you take the Beastie Boys.
Yeah, can Gaz join Beast Boys?
But he can hype them up.
But then a lot less.
There's also like a 50 mil in there that you can it's bigger than the Deceiver. You can jam in and
that Beast Boss is bigger than the Deceiver. I guess my point is Orks can kill Catan, but they're not they do kill Catan, and because Orks are a not reroll army into swingy defensive profiles, it's really bad if you bounce. And if your plan is I'm going to go in and roll mathematically average with no variance into Catan every single turn, then Orks aren't the best army at it.
I will say I think you do have to take Beast Snagas right now because of that, and they do have rerolls.
They do,
but
that's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, still C tier, I would say.
Yeah, still C tier, I think. Which
brings you to one of your favorite armies.
Brings us to Tyranids, an army that has not gotten a lot recently. We did get cheaper Carnifex, which I think this is the first time I've seen a unit go down 50 points without making a single list.
That's crazy, man. Surely the OOE unit, the old 1I unit, surely that unit's good still. Again,
it's 8 wounds of 2-up armor save with no invuln. It's cheaper than it used to be, but we're just not in the same economy. Back in my day, everyone was shooting AP 2 weapons around with no buffs.
Right.
And now they're not.
Okay, go back to bed, Grandpa.
Yeah. Don't worry. Old One Eye's gonna tuck him back in for a nap. I don't know. Tyranids are a constant source of frustration for me this edition. I really think that they just haven't gotten better, and they don't love a big stuff meta. And you can go counter meta by playing a Horde Tyranid list, like the Invasion Fleet with 80 Termagants, 100 Termagants, some Hormagants, and a Tervagon. You can go counter meta and say, I'm going to use all of my movement trick keys and a reactive move, and you're not going to be able to kill me. And that is pretty good if your opponent can't do it. And if they can, you get just
rinsed.
You just get blasted off the table.
Yeah.
Because there's not a ton of damage behind it. And so if someone is willing to get, roll up their sleeves to their elbows and just dive in and have the quantity and the rules to get through all these gaunts, then they do.
Yeah. And then suddenly you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. They just tell you, use all your rules. and then they just punch you in the face.
Yeah, and to be clear, like I could see this like 100 Gaunt invasion fleet list. I could see it beating Catan because like the Nightbringer just can't kill 20 Termagants in a turn. He's just not capable of it, and that means that he is never getting out of 40.
That is true.
You just charge him in, you walk from Maleceptor to 5 inches away, and say, "Hey, you're -1 to hit." And there's a 6 of Pinval on these idiots, and they're both healing D3+3 models a turn.
We're gonna actually come back to this sort of concept. When we get to Necrons.
Which is next, actually, because they're also in C tier.
Yes, which is that I think that if you want to tech for Catans, there are a lot of ways to do it, actually.
There are. It's just the problem of, is the way that you teched for Catan good into the other people teching for Catan? I don't know about you. The way that I am teching for Catan is that I am taking a large quantity of damage one-shots.
That's how I'm teching for Catan.
With efficiency buffs.
Yeah, like lethal 5s?
Depending on the army that I'm taking, I'm either doing like full rerolls +1 to hit and wound, ignore cover +1 AP.
Got it.
Or I'm doing like lethal hits, rerolls, or I'm doing reroll 1s to hit and wound.
I see where we're going with this. Guess what Gaunts hate? Yeah, they really don't love Osherman's unit either.
They don't love Osherman's unit. They don't love Repulsor Executioners. They don't love getting shot by guard.
No, they do not.
It's just a lot of different ways to lift a lot of Gaunts.
Yeah, and then the other way of going for the Catan is by taking lots of high damage shots. Gaunts would be good into that, but...
Yeah, but like the lots of high damage shots is like not actually that good into Catan. Because everyone's realizing that pointing... like how many Lascans does it take to kill the Nightbringer? More than you own.
Yep. It's good to soften it up before you charge with something that otherwise doesn't want to tangle with it. Yeah. But yeah, most of the way you kill it is with a quantity of efficient attacks.
Yeah.
Right? +1 to wound, +1 to hit, rerolls on either end, lethals of any variety, lethal 5s if you've got them, right? And then that will actually chew through Catan at speed.
Yeah, I love shooting the Rep-X at the Catan because I'm like, I'm just going to shoot the laser last. And they're like, great, I'll save my CP reroll for the laser.
And then he's dead.
And no. but it takes like 5 damage from the Rep-X, 5 or 6 damage. And you're like, okay. You're softened. And then let's see if you failed the CP reroll. And if you did, wham. And if not, it's cool. Yeah.
Quentin and I have joked that Fugin's gun actually doesn't have an offensive profile. It just says your opponent cannot use CP reroll against this activation.
Yeah, against this AP 4 ignore cover reroll hits and wounds. Basically not even a profile.
Yeah, well, because they always just CP reroll and pass the CP reroll. And they're like, all right, so you spent a CP and his gun doesn't do anything.
Well, I want to live that experience.
Well, you won't get to.
Fair enough.
He's not making lists anymore.
So, anyways, Tyranids. I just don't think that the counter meta Tyranid ways, like you can, if you're a really good practice Tyranid player, the Sam Popes of the world, they can go win with Tyranids. But I think you're working very hard to get what you get out of it.
I think for sure. I mean, it's like a decent blunter army, but it's the worst kind of blunter army, which is where it'll consistently get an 8. And like, that's actually not very valuable in teams. Consistently getting a 10 is pretty good, is actually very good. But consistently getting an 8 or a 7 is like,
and
not that valuable.
Yeah, in teams, they're a lot more valuable to me. But in singles, it's an army that is not very consistent at winning the game.
Yes.
It's very hard to beat Tyranids by a lot, which is cool because sometimes Tyranids do win games. And when they do win games, they can win big, just like other armies. But they're not doing it at the same clip as other armies.
No. The Battle Shock shenanigans are very cool. You can strip a lot of points off your opponent's scoreboard.
I'm on like a 3-game streak of my opponent not failing a Battle Shock test to Shadows. I had never in my life had a game where someone passed every single shock on the Shadows turn, and it's happened to me twice in a row.
Yeah, when I play against Sam, I failed like 2, and they weren't relevant.
Hate when that happens.
Yeah.
I have, unfortunately, I'm keeping Tyranids in C tier.
Yeah, for sure. I think they stay there.
For me, if I'm ordering those in C tier, I would say that we've got 3 because Necrons are about to leave.
Yeah.
I would say that it's probably... I think I like Knights, Orks, Tyranids in that order.
Knights, Orks, Tyranids. Yeah, I'd say that.
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Necrons, big topic of conversation.
Yeah, Necrons, they're definitely in C tier. I would have made an argument for them being like B tier, maybe before. However,
I don't think they're like bad.
However, we are no longer in the before.
No, they didn't oopsie. a bit of an oopsie doopsie, and that was that they made Catan like wildly better. The Catan were always virtually impossible to kill unless you really bared down on them. And in order to compensate for that, they made them 6-inch move. And that was a really crappy design space because they felt miserable for someone at all points of time.
I understand each change that they made.
Yes.
Separately. However, the end result has I don't believe is a good idea.
No. So they went from half damage to -1 damage, and you're like, wow, that's a lot easier to deal with. The problem is it isn't, because they gained 4 wounds, they still have a 5-up feel no pain, they still have 4-up invuln. So las cannons and stuff like that, not actually super efficient into them, because they just get a 4-up. If you try to D6 plus 4 damage off the repex, that's it, they no longer half it. It's just -1. And you're like, well, okay, they're going to CP reroll their invuln. That's just going to bounce. Realistically, it's just going to bounce.
Yeah.
And then even if it doesn't, you're like, all right, take 6 damage. I actually took 4 because feel no pains. And so you've essentially done 0 damage to a 12-wound Catan instead of 4 damage to a 16-wound Catan. The wound increase was not necessary, but the thing that is the most unnecessary here is making the movement 10. Now they are actually speedy. Also, they got offensive profiles.
I actually can forgive that. I really can.
Yeah, they shouldn't stay as movement 6. The problem is they can't be nigh immortal and also
they definitely can't be both of those at the same time. So I really think that with Necrons, they're going to be going, for me, I don't think they're the best army in the game.
No, they're certainly not.
For me, they're either going to the bottom level of S or the top level of A.
I think the top level of A, is a lot fairer. I think the meta game is about to take a massive target on Catan because you have to, otherwise you lose.
Yes.
You have to have your sights on Catan, and some armies are going to have trouble doing that. But some armies are going to be able to beat Catan with not a lot of trouble. For example, if you're a Catan player and you run 4 of them and you run into Gaunt Carpet, you lose. If that player knows remotely what they're doing.
Yeah, Recon Guard, same thing.
Recon Guard, you're just out of, you're done. Right?
Yep. There's actually nothing you can do about
GSC, same deal. Not a good army, but it'll beat you for sure. You run into anything that has just a ton of OC on points, it's going to be a real problem for you. And that's not really in your control.
No, you're basically with Necrons, you're trying to table the opponent before they can enact a scoring plan that gets over the line.
Yeah.
And if you're one of the armies whose plan is I'm going to ignore my opponent and do the scoring plan, then
it's really hard
to win for the Necrons don't actually get you off the rails in time.
Yeah. They'll kill you by turn 5, but it's too late.
Yeah.
At that point.
Not fun.
I mean, even Richard's doing the same thing with his Necron list. His Necron list is teching for the mirror by including a 20-man warrior brick with a 4-up invuln.
Which they can't kill.
They can't deal with that, right? And I get that is Necrons, but that strategy works for a lot of other armies. There are also some armies that can just kill a Catan at range and say, I'm going to do this again next turn and the turn after that.
Yeah. There's several.
Like Guard, for example, or Ultramarines.
Yep. I can crack 2 in a turn without really feeling while allowing them to spike up a little bit.
My Eldar list will kill 2 in a turn.
Yeah.
Yeah. And out OC all the other ones.
Yeah. This is actually awful. So the math is that if I fire my 2 Repulsor Executioners at these Catan, and I have my Army Whale on the 2 Catan in my face, and they pass every single laser save, the D6 plus 4s.
You just forget that you have them.
If I just don't fire those 2 weapons, I should still kill 2.
Yeah. And sure, most armies, it's going to feel so helpless if you can't deal with any Catan.
Yeah, if
you can kill 1 and lose your army for doing it.
Also bad.
Blood Angels, Rage Cursed and Lag, have nothing for Catan. Period.
Yeah, true.
Custodes get rinsed by Catan. Grey Knights.
I could not imagine. Teleport and hit the 9s. I got no other advice.
Just do it, man. So there's a lot of armies that have real trouble dealing with Catan, and if you straight up can't do it, you will lose. But also, by the same token, if you build a very efficient shooting list or a very efficient scoring list,
and you can,
then you just will beat them. The Catan's worst nightmare is they put 4 out, you kill 1 to 2 without losing your ability to kill the more on the next turn.
Yep, and then either they run back behind the walls, don't score points, or they stay out dealing with the trash Kroot hounds and things that are running around. Yeah, and they lose another 2. It's okay, well,
oh, game over. Sorry. Yeah. I mean, also, you don't need to kill all of the Catan. You just need to drop them to 1 or 2, and suddenly they stop being able to play the game.
Yep.
So, it's the worst kind of binary army. in true Necrons fashion, honestly. They keep making Necrons an army of, well, if you can't deal with it, you lose, and if you can deal with it, then they lose, and that's unfortunate.
Yup.
That's unfortunate for everyone, Necron players inclusive.
Yeah. All right, so Necron's top A feels reasonable. We've gone through everyone currently in C, so we're now on the armies that are formerly known as B tier.
Yes.
So Genestealer Cult is up next. Genestealer Cult...
I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry, Tucker. You don't deserve this.
Okay, so there is something in Genestealer Cult, and it's just that they have all these waves of tricks. Funny enough, I watched Genestealer Cult win a 6-round 100-plus tournament earlier this weekend. Alex McDougall went 6-0 at Wet Coast GT with Final Day Genestealer Cult. I don't know if Final Day is the best way to play Genestealer Cult. I've played against the Outlander Claw the bike version recently. That had some cool things, but overall felt like it lacked power, which funny enough reminds me of Final Day. And then I've heard that Biosanctic has some cool things, but sometimes lacks power. Which I think does pose a nice contrast to...
Xenocreed actually has some nice things.
You know what? I was about to say that Host of Ascension had some cool things, but lacks power. Tell me about Xenocreed.
Oh, it has some cool things.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it lacks power.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's...
Yeah. It should tell you something if GSC main extraordinaire Tucker is no longer on GSC at the moment.
Yeah.
He has spun out attempting to play every single detachment, and it has not panned into anything.
Yeah. I really just struggle to see how Genestealer Cult in the current meta can compete with multiple top armies. I think you could build for any one of them.
Yep, you can beat the crap out of Catan if you really want to.
You probably could.
Yeah.
I don't know if you beat the crap out of them, but you could definitely outscore them on the scoreboard.
By quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry,
Yes.
you want to kill them.
Yeah, they're still going to be the Catan are not going to feel beaten, but the Necron player will.
Yes, the Necron player will be like, damn, I dropped to the loser's bracket. But
The Nightbringer's having the best day of his life.
Nightbringer's bringing so much night, dude.
Yeah, it gets 11 models a turn. They keep regrowing, but it's fine.
Yeah. It's all D3 plus 3 back, more corpses.
Yeah. I think C tier. Yeah. I think Genestealer Cult, I personally have them below Tyranids.
Yikes, brother. Yikes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. How did Genestealer Cult win a super major this last weekend? By bringing Tyranids.
I can't argue with that. I can't argue with that.
Great job, Alex McDougall.
They had to bring in their big brother.
Yeah.
That's rough. The nerfs to Host of Ascension were savage, unfortunately. They needed to be a bit more mild than that.
Yeah. And I know that with every army there's some amount of play, but with Genestealer Cult, I don't see them getting results proportional to the effort put in.
Yeah, I mean, Biosanctic, you have to work your ass off. It's like a solid army, but you have to work your ass off for it. And that's, I think, probably
Biosanctic is sometimes good, and my read as a non-GSC player is that I would play Biosanctic if I played any, because I think it's the best, especially for my playstyle.
Yep, same.
However, it feels very all right, let's line up several 7-inch charges and see if I happen to roll a little below average this turn. Ruh-roh!
Yeah, so Tucker tried Biosanctic for a team event. He played a practice game. He biffed 2 5-inch charges and an 8-inch charge.
Yeah,
the game was immediately over, and then he just posted in all caps, "I hate melee armies."
Yeah. Dude, I'm just saying, shooting armies should have to pass the leadership test to shoot.
That sounds right. Yeah, I think I agree with that. So Tucker, do you concur on C tier?
All right.
Yeah, okay, we got the nod. That's sad.
That's sad. So in B tier, next up is Death Guard. I don't know if Death Guard is always hard to place. There are some Death Guard players placing quite well. Death Guard are actually one of those armies that I think has a relatively interesting answer to Catan, which is that crit 5 rerolls and lethals in the 3 different ways the Death Guard can access that.
With the sweep attacks off there's many different ways to get that.
Multiple ways to access it.
Yes.
Whichever way you chose to access that combination of words, can kill Catan. Certainly it is dangerous enough that the Catan player can't just shove them at you and find out.
Yep. Army-wide lethals, also quite good.
Yeah, there's just a lot of lethals. It's really not bad, but because it's not a super dynamic army, I always struggle to rate it as a good army either. We occasionally see some players doing really well with it. Albin in France has continued to put up great results with Death Guard, basically since the Codex came out, with no signs of slowing down. But I'm not seeing it do well widely.
It's been a while since I've felt actually threatened by a Death Guard opponent. Unfortunately, they're so slow. They're not actually that tough. Their damage is pretty good, but if you can pre-measure where it can go, it's like that's not great for them.
Why would I just pre-measure someone to death? Would I really
would you do that? Yes, you would.
I would do that.
You would do that. And it's just, I don't know, man. It feels like if I put my hand in the trap, it's going to close on my hand, and that sucks.
Yeah, but there's also
what if I just don't do that?
There's a sign on the trap that says "Do not insert hand."
Yeah, and it's in like big green font. You know, it's like don't do this. Oh, if you walk within 16 inches of my Rhino with Plague Marines in it, you're going to get charged. Like, oh, okay, got it. Understood.
Well, don't do that then.
Deal.
Goodness.
Got it. Like, yeah. So I don't know, man. It is tough to square because Albin's been doing well, but good players do good with armies all the time, right? They do that. I mean, we're just talking about McDougal. Alex just won a GT with it, and we still think that army's bad, you know. And I would have to say the same thing about Death Guard. You know,
I think that they are better than the armies we have talked about.
Would you say they are in the same tier better or different tier?
I actually like them in the literal spot that they currently are.
I can see that.
Yeah, I do believe that they are noticeably better than the 4 armies we have actively put in C tier.
Yes.
So for right now, I think bottom of B is fine. And as we look at other armies, maybe someone gets lower, maybe not. We'll kind of talk about it in those armies. But like at the moment, I think they're better than those 4 armies.
Yeah.
I really don't have a ton of faith in Death Guard as an army.
Yeah, it's slow armies tend to want to try and play stat check. Death Guard can't do that, unfortunately, because they just have 2 durable data sheets.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I'd say bottom of B is pretty reasonable. Honestly, kind of generous, but
sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So next on the list, Tau. Tau recently won the Palm Springs Open, and have won a couple other events in the past few months. We've seen some players like Durant in the United States, but generally anywhere that Tau can get line of sight to, Tau prosper. Any terrain format that allows that to happen, Tau do well.
Yeah, Tau do good if they can see.
Probably the most terrain dependent like army in the game.
You can still run pretty good lists as like Ox Cadre or even Crude Hunting Pack is actually not a meme.
I do like the gorillas.
Yeah. So I think you can build a list if you know you're going to be playing on a slightly more dense board. I agree that like hyper dense boards, they want no part of.
Yeah. For my money, I think that Tau shoot incredibly hard and have lots of cheap units.
Also very fast.
They have fast, cheap units, and fast, cheap units shoot very hard is a really good way to force the opponent to act, kill them where they hide, and generally cause problems. They don't hold primary while being passive, but it's being very aggressive with cheap units while preserving the expensive units that continue to shoot every turn.
Yes.
That, I think, is actually a really good place to offer Tau.
Yep. It's incredibly powerful. They also have like 5 detachments that they can do good with.
Yeah. For me, I believe that Tau are better than B tier.
I concur.
Excellent.
I concur. I think they are firmly in A tier.
Yeah.
You have, as I said, 5 different detachments I think are all very playable, quite good. I think Crude Hunting Pack is probably the worst of them, but is still a viable army, not a meme.
Yep.
It's very hard to actually dislodge that army. You have Ox Cadre, you have Ret Cadre, you have Montka, and you have Kauyon in no particular order.
Yeah. Next, so Tau A tier. Do you have them above or below Custodes?
I would put them above Custodes. They are fast and dynamic. Custodes are not. We're going to have this discussion a fair few times. Also, hard line. Custodes are the bottom of A. That just is what it is.
We'll talk about it. I'm okay with above Custodes in this case, though.
Yeah.
And then after that, that'll move us to Grey Knights in B tier, who I think really suffer with the direction the meta's taking.
Yeah, Grey Knights are just one of the armies that feels a little directionless, a little listless. Like they don't really have an identity of what they're supposed to be doing here. They kind of teleport, but they're also kind of elite infantry, and that those 2 identities do not mesh.
Yeah, they have one like thing of toughness that makes them expensive without the several things of toughness, right? Like they're 12 armor save, but they don't have the invuln, and they're only 2 wounds, and there's no mortal wound protection, and they're T4.
Yeah,
and like the Terminators are then just Terminators that kind of cost more than other Terminators.
Heal model back.
Yeah, if you have a model left.
Or you take a 10-man, then you probably have models left.
Yeah, both of your units probably survive.
Also, teleporting heavy melee infantry is just not good. It's just not good.
They would need to have like a passive +1 to charge, just like
even then, man. Like they need to be like teleport teleport rapid ingress, basically. Because the problem is that heavy melee infantry want to get into combat. And teleporting is a shooting rule, right? Picking a unit up and dropping it 9 away is for shooting units. And those do not go together. So you see it, but they also can't really make like a mass Dread Knights plan work. It's an army that does not have a direction, unfortunately. And that is just not a very fun place to be. It's also, as you pointed out, durable enough to be expensive, but not enough to actually be durable.
Yep. Custodes are durable and durable for their cost.
Sure.
And then,
sorry, that looks like I was coming over the table.
Yeah, it did.
Might happen. I'm just saying.
But like Grey Knights are durable without being tough.
Yeah, they're just not.
I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, because Custodian Guard is cheaper than a Grey Knight Terminator, I think. It's definitely cheaper than a Paladin.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably cheaper than a Terminator too.
It probably is. I don't recall the cost.
Are not expensive.
I think it's actually comparable. I think it's the same. It's about like $40 a piece. But
I think Grey Knights just lack. You said it. They lack direction entirely. I don't know what their best build is. I've played against Banishers. I've played against the Grotmist detachment, and at every time my opinion is like, okay, that's it.
That's it. They're also very elite. Their units are quite expensive.
Yeah. So for me, that puts Grey Knights in C tier. Yeah. And like, if we're looking at the 4 armies we currently have in C tier, I think Grey Knights are worse than Orks.
I think they're worse.
I think they're worse than Tyranids.
I agree that they're worse than Tyranids. They might even be worse than GSC, because GSC can at least play in like 5 different mediocre ways. Grey Knights can't find a way that does anything.
This feels wrong. Yep, below GSC.
They are. Also, when in doubt, the army that has a Gorillion units is probably better than the army that has 5.
Into Catan, that's true.
Catan is super true. Grey Knights get rinsed like a drain, dude. It's not good.
Okay. That's unlucky.
Grey Knights, I think, probably are the worst real army in the game.
Well, that is where we're putting them. So I'm glad. Yeah, I don't really have a strong argument against it. I'm
sorry, Grey Knight players. Listen, I love Grey Knights. All right, but teleporting heavy infantry that don't shoot hard is just not a good place to build an army on, unfortunately.
So we're looking at CSM next.
Yep.
I actually like CSM right now. I don't think that they're amazing, but I like them. I think that there's as always, there's 6 viable detachments. They always have a little bit of like which one are you going to do? And there's no like one clear and obvious direction. Obviously, we know that there's some CSM rules coming. They've previewed a good number of stuff, but we don't know that at the moment. And I'm inclined to kind of keep them in B tier, because I don't think that they're as bad as their win rate indicates. But I'm not going to try to tell you that I think CSM is actually a great army.
No, I think they're like a bit higher than, but it's like hard to justify them over very much in that tier.
Yeah.
Realistically, I think they are better than probably like Chaos Knights, Black Templars, worse than Votann, I'd say.
Yeah, I'm fine leaving them there, and we can kind of move those armies around them as we talk to it.
Yeah. Eldar is not staying there. I'm just going to preview that.
Sure. I think CSM is better than Death Guard.
Yes. Yes.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And we'll keep it there. Yeah, because I'm only going to rank it next to the armies we've already placed, and we'll kind of look at the rest of it. Yep. Because someone will probably come down from A to B, if I'm being honest. At least one.
Yeah, reasonably
at
likely.
Least one.
Reasonably likely.
So CSM, I'm fine leaving there. Votann next. Man, Votann just feels like the epitome of like a good army that's not great.
Yeah, I will say Delve Assault Shift is quite a good detachment.
Yeah.
Held down a lot by the fact that you have to own like 40 to 50 Berserks and have them all painted. And unironically, I've watched like 3 different people that I know go, man, that army seems really cool. I want to play it. And then go, but...
I really do want to see it played more. The couple of times I've seen it, it has been impressive.
Yep. I played into it the other day. It was quite good.
Yeah, I'm willing to bet that it's the best army, like best way to play Votann.
Yeah.
The rest of it just feels very fair Votann.
Very fair. Fair is not like
it's not a bad thing, but you don't want to be fair.
You don't really want to be fair. No. Mm-hmm. You want to be a splash of unfairity to it.
Yeah. I think ahead of CSM is fine for me. I'm not. My gut is telling me CSM over Votann, but not by a wide margin. If you think Votann over CSM,
I think Votann probably over CSM.
I'm fine with that. CSM has some stuff coming. We'll see if that moves the needle or not.
Yeah.
And I think they previewed a Votann character during the the World Championships Warhammer, because they showed like 5 like epic heroes and things that like we haven't seen since.
Did
like
they?
They showed like 1 Tau suit. They showed one.
They did, didn't
yeah,
they? Yeah.
They showed a Tyranid Prime that they have not mentioned in the last 3 months.
Yeah, while they were previewing that, I was instead frantically getting dinner so I could play the Shadow.
I remember.
You were also doing that.
Yes, I just watched it afterwards. I definitely didn't notice it when it happened. But I noticed it the morning after.
I was prepping to play into a whole lot of AdMech at that point in time.
Fair enough. So I'm okay with Votann over CSM for now. After Votann is Black Templars. We're getting to the first Space Marine chapter on our list. So Black Templars, we believed at the start of this that they were the worst of the chapter options.
I still believe that. What about you?
I still think it's pretty close to that. I believe that the Bastion task force that we got for 500 Worlds actually does provide an interesting way to play Black Templars, because I think that's the only way to play that detachment. And the detachment does have really good rules if you actually get to access them.
Attempt to write a Deathwatch Bastion because you get Deathwatch vets in battle line. It was not that great. It was cute though.
It's cute.
But it was not that great.
I am not convinced that significantly raises the bar on Templars. I think it is a little better than the other options for Templars, and that's good for Templar players. I don't think that's the kind of thing that's going to convince the Dark Angel player to switch to Templars. I think it's like, if you're already playing Templars, like, oh, cool, new option.
Unfortunately, Templars kind of exist in the in like a weird design space, kind of like Grey Knights do, where they're just a little incongruous. They can't be the fast Marines, because that's, Blood Angels, I guess, or Space Wolves.
Allegedly
apparently.
White Scars, go on.
Allegedly White Scars. That army is quite fast. They can't really be the fast Marines. They can't... I guess they hit kind of hard, but there are also faction identities based around chainswords. So, like, how hard do you actually hit?
Yeah.
And then they're not particularly durable because they're not the durable Marines, right? They're not like...
Dark Angels.
Again, a lot of power armor.
Yeah.
And at that point, it's like you're just a lot of power armor that doesn't move particularly fast with a chainsword. And they've attempted to make that as good as they can, but that is, like, not a great place to start.
Yeah. It's an interesting army. It's not going up on the tier list, though.
No, I think it's worse than Votann, honestly.
You think worse than Votann?
I do.
I'll give it to you.
I think Delve Assault Shift is significantly better than that.
Sold.
Yeah.
Which brings us to another army of yours.
Yes, Eldar. So Eldar got hit incredibly hard. They got hit with the Nerf bat in the face.
In the knees.
In the knees.
In between
both
the knees.
Yes, right up just between the legs.
Right between the knees. Mm-hmm.
They got hit with the Nerf bat over and over and over again. But it turns out that army was broken and is also an incredibly deep codex. And Eldar is a Hydra. If you cut off one of its heads, 2 more grow back. Because you cut off Ynnari, and Aspect Host and Warhost grew out of that.
Great.
You cut off Aspect Host and Warhost, and, well, wouldn't you guess, Guardian Battle Host and Aspect Host Still and Seer Council and even the Harlequin detachment are growing out of that, although I don't think it's quite as good as the other ones. Mm-hmm. I think people are starting to figure it out. It took a while. It did legitimately get knocked down to B tier.
Yep.
And now people are starting to figure it out. I know Liam VSL apparently is working on Eldar right now.
I know that he submitted it to a team event. I'll admit I was going to kind of just check on how he did after the fact, not try to solve it before.
He's going to do good. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, but like every once in a while he loses a game, and then I get to see what he lost to, and be like, fine. Wow, that's an unwinnable matchup for every other player.
Yeah,
and he barely lost.
Yeah.
But I know it's on my radar to be like, in 1 week, go check and see how well he did.
Yeah, I have been working on Aspect Host the last several days. Mm-hmm. So I'm taking, actually the last week or so, because I am taking it to a team event in just over a week, a week and a half. West Coast Warbands.
Okay.
That army is like really still quite good.
Eldar, man.
It turns out a faction identity of move fast, hit hard.
Don't get hit back.
Sometimes you can even get hit back, man. Like, it's fine. Yeah, you lose the units, but the ones behind it still kill you. Like, die. Yeah, it's a good faction identity to have if you're looking for power level. It's why Eldar's always really good in every edition. It's not a meme. Eldar has been very good in every edition, and the reason for that is because they move very fast and they hit very hard.
Yep.
And if you do that, you're good at playing Warhammer. And it turns out, okay, so like if you go down into the depths of the units we have available, oh, how hard can you buff Ozherman? Well, you can make him kill a lot of stuff in shooting, actually, if you give him like lethal hits, ignores cover, ignores mods, crit 5s, right? At that point, he's doing a tremendous amount of damage and shooting, and then he still gets back into transport because they left us with one of those. And then it turns out triple Warp Spider, triple Swooping Hawk is still just busted. It turns out Lycus and Jane Czar went up in cost. Cool, they're still busted.
Yeah, those data sheets there isn't a points cost for Lycus.
No, she's nuts. Like, what are we doing here? She's still the best unit in that book.
Yeah.
And then recent tech, inspired by Mr. Tucker Rickey, is Fire Prisms. Actually, at 150 are very efficient. They're like shockingly efficient data sheets for 150. And you end up just writing a list that is worse than it was before. But where it was before was S tier in a stronger meta. So like...
Yeah.
Like,
no,
yeah, you're just going to end up with a very good list. Now, do you have to play some amount of good in order to make it work? Yes.
Yeah.
But
and I think there's more counters to Eldar than what there was in the past. What you're describing to me still sounds like it doesn't love 18 Bullrun.
It can shred through Bullrun.
It can, but like, we'll see. Maybe we'll play it sometime.
We'll see. Maybe we'll play it sometime. But like Osherman's unit hits significantly harder than it looks like it does.
No, I've been shot by that thing. I know exactly how hard that thing hits.
Okay, it's hard.
I'm aware.
It
doesn't kill 2 Bullrun squads.
I did play it over the weekend, and it did 1 tap a Night Lancer. So from 27, sorry. So
yeah, like with
a grenade.
Look, I've lost Rogue Orange to that thing. I've been shot by it.
Yeah,
I remember.
So it turns out Eldar just needed a second to regroup, and now they're back, baby. And like they are just a very good army. If your opponent is a good player and they're on a good Eldar list, it's going to be a very, very hard night at the office for you.
Yet again. So we currently have them B tier. Sounds like you're not going to keep them there.
No.
A?
Yeah, for sure.
Relative to Town Custodes, where do you have them?
I would put them in the top half of A.
Got it. So do you believe that's above Tau?
Yes, that is above Tau.
Okay.
Because we're only ranking the ones
I'm just making it easy because everything else in A is about to move.
They are better than Tau. Yes.
Okay, above Tau. I'll give it to you. You've been playing Eldar recently. I do agree that there was plenty of good rules in there. I'm not at all surprised. I knew I wasn't the man to find it, but I'm not surprised that someone went and found that Eldar still shot really hard while being really fast.
Yeah, that's what they do. And they also stab really hard for some unknown reason.
I hate that part. Really do.
Eldar was, it turns out actually, my BCP wrapped, Eldar was my most played army of 2025. Which
you could not waterboard that out of me.
Well, because it's not true. But 32 tournament games with Eldar, 31 tournament games with World Eaters, which was, intriguing. We'll see how it goes for 2026.
Okay. Yeah. More Eldar, I'm sure.
That army is like very good.
Yeah, it sure is. So, Chaos Knights are the last army of B tier to rank. I think that Chaos Knights are exactly where we thought they were.
Best to be?
Yeah.
I'm good with that.
I still think they're better than Knights because you actually get the volume. You have better armigers. You also get demon allies. And if you take those things away, would they be worse? Yes, which actually makes Chaos Knights a lot worse in teams than before because now demons are worth taking as a standalone faction. And so now, like, you can't...
That's true. Just keep going.
You just can't write a Chaos Knight list without demons that's as good as one with demons, and I'm not going to pretend you can.
Yeah.
You can still write a good Chaos Knight list, and you can do it with demons if you don't have a Scintillating Legion player. Chaos Knights are still a perfectly serviceable faction. Again, I really like the volume that they have. However, the volume lists do not scratch the paint on Catan.
Yes. No.
They just don't. Not at a rate that approaches enough. And so then, like, if you want to go away from that, you can. And it will like be better into Catan if you do like the triple Lancer thing. But actually Imperial Knights do that better at that point. Because like the unique thing of Chaos Knights is the Despoiler.
And the Despoiler is a hell of a data sheet, but like also...
It is, but it no longer carries the entire faction in the current meta. There's too much -1 damage out there for me to like remotely feel good about it.
2-up save Armor of Contempt.
Also bad.
Yeah, also quite poor for them.
Yeah.
This is good. We're going to have a Knights army in A, B, and C tier because Catan.
Woo! Okay, so we're through B. We're through the first 3 factions of A because we've ranked up to Eldar. T-Suns.
I mean...
I don't hate T-Suns in A.
I don't hate them in A, but I also could see them just being like in B.
Yeah. I feel that way about most of the Cult Legions, I'm going to be honest here.
Yeah, a lot of the Cult Legions... I think a lot of the Cult Legions are actually fairly similar, except for Death Guard, which is going to be all the way down at the bottom of B.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that Thousand Suns are good. I know Michael likes his Hex Warp thing.
He does.
He likes the vehicle heavy list of I always call it Sandstorm. I don't actually know what it's called.
Because Ironstorm, but
but it's Sandstorm.
Darude.
And like, you know, the normal like Cult of Magic, the index attachment is still relatively popular, still does good damage. And yet I don't think any of that pushes T-Sons to be like a really top tier army.
I mean, they're still struggling under the weight of the fact that they just spend a lot of points, and it's like points for unit, points for character.
I just think it's like a good, not great army.
I would say so.
I'm inclined to put it in B tier above Chaos Knights.
I would say so. I will say, if you are a good T-Sons player, you'll get a lot out of the Codex still. You can still do quite well with it. I think anything B or above is like, could go win tournament. And I think what you said before this was like, if we go and win a tournament with that, you wouldn't be, with something in A or B tier, you wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
C, I would be surprised.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, right. Jack, for example, you win a lot of tournaments. And so, forgive me, when you go win a tournament, I'm not necessarily surprised. And if you told me, well, I just took my new Necrons for Catan, won a tournament, I'd be like, hey, great job, buddy. Really happy for you. And then I'd go back to eating my Cheerios.
Right.
However, if you told me, hey, John, I just won a Super Major with Grey Knights, I'd be like, wow.
That's crazy.
What detachment were you playing?
What were you doing?
But if you told me you won and you know what, I imagine you feel the same way about my Ultramarines.
Yeah.
If I said, oh, hey, while you were gone this weekend, I won a tournament with Ultramarines, would you be like,
I'd be like,
what?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
and then I go back to watching whatever I was watching. Although your example of me being Necrons hurts. That hurts deep. Okay, that's oof.
I'm sorry, I picked the only person in the room who has run Catan spam, so I don't.
It's not Catan spam. It was 9th edition. I ran 2. They were not a good army.
3.
No, I run 3.
There were 3.
They were not 3. There were not 3. There were 2. It was the Deceiver and it was the Void Dragon.
Oh, there wasn't a Nightbringer?
There was no Nightbringer.
Interesting.
On that list.
Whatever it is. But that's kind of like how we're approaching the ranking system on this one. I wouldn't be surprised at all if, you know, Michael won a tournament with T-Sons. As a matter of fact, you know, he just went 5-0 at an event in Hawaii a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
He's done very well with it.
Yeah, but still, I just don't see it having the same power level as some of the other ones.
I agree. I also think that it gets a little bit crowded out. It's an army that can kill Catan, but isn't amazing at it.
Yeah.
It's relatively elite.
It's relatively committal when it wants to do damage.
Yep.
And it has to float either.
If it bounces bad.
Yeah. It either has a bunch of units that have to get very close and get line of sight to do damage, or it has a bunch of tanks that don't have really an invul most of the time.
Yep.
Or it has Magnus, who can throw shots from like really far away, but also kind of not that far away, like 33 inches. And then also if you lose Magnus, you lose the game. So like, it's kind of committal on its damage, and it's expensive. And so you have to run a real fine tightrope of how you're going to actually play the game.
Yep. We're just going through the cult legions at this point. World Leaders and EC are next. These are 2 of our favorites.
These feel very comparable to me in terms of power level.
Yeah. Comparable to each other or comparable to T-Sons?
To each other.
Okay. I think they're also comparable to T-Sons.
I think they're comparable. Maybe this is bias. I think they're better than T-Sons.
Yeah.
But like that might just get them into B tier above T-Sons.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Like, I love EC. I will ride that rock as far as anyone can. I love EC. But
I love my Eaters.
Yeah.
I love my Eaters deeply and truly.
I don't think either of those armies want Catan smoke. And you can try to play around it, and I think you can. But in a rest of big stuff meta, as an EC player, I don't love it if my options are, boy, will I play against the 18 Bulgrin or the 3 Catan this round?
Yeah, I will say World Eaters, I might be above EC in B tier because they are significantly better at dealing with big stuff. But you still run in with like, this should kill you on average. And then you just got to hope that it does.
Yeah.
Because you don't have rerolls.
World Leaders are definitely better at killing a Catan if they have to than EC are. EC is better at killing everything around a Catan. And like which path leads to victory? Fork in the road. I don't know. Hope you don't bounce.
Yep.
Because you still kind of need to kill one Catan if you're going to make it I'm going to like kill everything around the Catan. You have to kill everything around the Catan and one Catan.
I mean, I'm happy to coin flip which one goes higher than the other. Because to me, they feel like 2 sides of the same coin. They feel very comparable in terms of power.
I do think that they're basically next to each other. I have bias. I believe that I believe that EC is the higher end of that coin.
Yeah, me too. I also have bias.
You also believe EC is the higher end of the coin?
I do not believe that. No, I believe the world
Stop
leaders.
recording. Stop account.
Stop the count. I'm willing to 4-up it for you.
Okay. So you want high or low?
I'll take high. Oh, no, this is an Art of War die. I'll take low.
There you go.
World leaders is better.
All right. That's how we determine it. I should have rolled the 4-inch charge to determine that.
It was a 5.
And I think then that we can... I'm of the opinion that all 3 of the Cult Legions are just like the top end of B tier.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty solid armies. World leaders definitely really didn't like the 50-point cut that they took.
EC didn't like it either.
No, like actually, I was like, oh, surely I can just rewrite my list to be like different but the same.
Yeah.
And it turns out with like 8 viable units in the book, you can't.
Yeah.
I just ended up cutting 2 enhancements, and that makes the list worse.
Is what it is, yeah. And with EC, I do feel that the army is still very competitive, but I feel like the margins for error are so thin with EC that it's very difficult to get that optimal result out of them.
Yeah.
And like, you can, but it's, juice to squeeze ratio is not there anymore.
I mean, I still feel very confident about my ability to do good things with world leaders. I feel very confident about your ability to do good things with EC. Yeah. I feel like I can beat a lot of armies that are up there with my world leaders, but I think I'm going to have to outwork my opponent slightly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Space Wolves are up next.
Yeah.
I think Space Wolves
somehow.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Don't
agree with that at all. I think Space Wolves are a Marine army that is one. I don't think that has like any pope into the top stuff. I think it just gets no sold by everything on top.
And it also, unfortunately, is a melee army that loses the melee mirror.
Yep,
it's bad. If you world leaders into Space Wolves, bad time. EC into Space Wolves, bad time. Like, it's not good for them because they don't have the profiles or the stats to like actually win a grind or to win a fight.
Yep.
And they get blasted by melee units that do credible damage. So
for me, I'm thinking like between T-Suns and Chaos Knights. I think T-Suns are better. I think it's close.
I'm down for that.
Yeah.
I'm down for that.
I think right there is fine for me. Just whoop. I think that, I mean, they lack a lot of the tools that Space Marine chapters need right now. I still think they're better than Black Templars.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're also, this is just not really the meta for them, man. Like, the Stormlance build that does beat up on a lot of shooting armies, well, it's like, all right, let's check the shooting armies. A bunch of Bulgrin in front of tanks that you will never get through to touch the tanks.
Yep.
And then also Riptides, ignore mods and are damage 4. So
good combo.
Not great. And then if you play into, as you said, Catan, you get elbow dropped.
I do believe that.
Right? And that's not good. And then if you play into any of the competent melee armies, I think you get slammed. Like if you play into Blood Angels, World Leaders, EC, Ultramarines, if they run heavy Victrix Guard, I think you're going to have an awful time. Or Custodes are T6. They hate that.
I think that would also wreck them.
Yeah, it would be terrible.
Yep. Drukhari.
I actually have a reasonably high opinion of this army.
Yeah, Drukhari, we've seen Spectacle have some pretty good results, both as like an all-combat army or as a wide MSU army. And then I know Richard likes Cabalite Cartel.
That's me. I like Cabalite Cartel.
Richard likes Cabalite Cartel.
I thought he preferred the Spectacle. Well, they're all good.
Hey, I don't know. You have to ask Richard. And then I think Scari's also on Cabalite Cartel at the moment.
Yeah, the game I played into him where he played Cabalite Cartel, I was like, oh, this is like super cool. I'm actually playing a stream game with the Cabalite Cartel tomorrow.
Oh, very cool.
Yes.
So like, I think there's a couple viable builds. I'm not entirely sure how it stacks up into the tip top of the meta, but it seems to generally do pretty well.
Yeah, Spectacle also has like, does not play the game in a fair way.
No.
Like at all. They have a near infinite supply of units is what it feels like. I've played into it. And then also they charge you in your own turn, which is not fun.
Nope.
And also their profiles say that they're like strength 4, AP 2, damage 1, but that is like the biggest lie I've ever heard.
There's usually some lethals thrown out there.
They can juice a lot of things in that profile.
Yeah.
So like, I would say, I don't think they're as good as Eldar. I don't think so. I also think in the straight up fight between Eldar and Drukhari, it is horrible for Drukhari.
Yep.
because Eldar have warp spiders.
There's a lot of stuff in Drukhari, though.
There's a lot of stuff in Drukhari. There won't be after you take a shooting phase.
Fair enough.
Warp spiders, but I would put it just below Eldar, though. I think it's very good.
Okay, you think better than Tau?
I think better than Tau.
Okay, all right.
I just have a very high opinion of Drukhari.
Yeah, that's fair. Put him there. Put him there. And that'll lead us into Deathwatch. This is the one that I catch some flack for. I do not rate Deathwatch as highly as some other people in the strata of Space Marine chapters.
I'm gonna let you talk your stuff. Okay. I think Deathwatch. I have a reasonably high opinion of Deathwatch, but
so I think that what Deathwatch are as a teleporting shooting army that has no access to fall back and to do anything while being a Space Marine profile. I think that Deathwatch run into a couple of real problems where they are very terrain dependent. Mm-hmm. If they go on the wrong table layout and they can't get access to this fun staging points, then it's just like nothing happens. And there's 3 Fortis kill teams with indirect. There's like 3 Vengwar launchers going over the top, and that is so okay.
We'll agree that getting tied up problem is a real issue.
And so I think it's very vulnerable to like heavy melee pressure. I think it also doesn't love like really tough targets because you've got the 1 turn of lethals, which is great. But you don't have a ton of high AP behind that. And so like Deathwatch traditionally were not amazing into Knights.
Interesting. Okay.
And also I don't think are that great at killing Catan.
I would agree with that.
And also I don't think are good at killing Rogel Dorns.
Yeah, when a Catan touches one of those things, they just goes through it just through wheat.
Yeah, it's just I'm of the opinion that Deathwatch is a very limited playstyle. And it doesn't give the Space Marine player nearly as many options. It has a lot of power, which is something you can find in multiple places for Space Marines. This is one of them. You can find that power. And if you keep playing if you play day 1 and day 2 on GW layouts 4 and 6, just pulling out some random numbers here.
Or 5.
Or 5.
3 turned the wrong way.
Yeah, like you can get, that power gets applied. And if you play on a map where it doesn't, as soon as you play on layout 7, 8, 1, WTC terrain, I think you lose a lot of steam on Deathwatch.
I could see all those arguments.
And then
I do think that there's quite a bit of power in it.
Yeah.
It does teleport and it can put some funky pressure on you because of that. Also, Deathwatch players love making 9-inch charges out of reserves. They just, oh man, they're so good at it. I don't understand.
Maybe it's because I failed all my 9-inch charges.
Yeah, they're just taking that power from you. They're siphoning it off. Mm-hmm. That being said, where would you put it in your heart of hearts?
I would put Deathwatch below T-Suns. That's me.
I think that's actually perfectly reasonable.
Yeah. I don't think they're bad.
No, they are a good army. I think A, B, and S tier are all
they're close.
Yeah. They're all good armies. I think C tier is where an army starts to have real problems. Mm-hmm. And I could agree with that. I think getting tied up is a real problem for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Deathwatch go there, just above Spezwolves. Mm-hmm. And now we're into Dark Angels.
We are into Dark Angels. This is another Marine chapter after my heart. I quite like Dark Angels right now. I think that they are a fun counter meta thing that is still counter meta, not meta, because you're basically hinging on the strength of Lionel Johnson, which is a great fights first lone op that messes up a lot of people. Yep. And also providing mortal protection to the army is actually quite valuable right now.
Yep. And mortal protection to himself also means he's hard to burn through.
Yeah, that is quite true. Yeah. Good invuln, good feel no pain. Like he's
3 up.
3 up invuln.
Yeah. He can die to 2 melting
1 life.
Shots. But
look, has he gotten 1 tapped by an immolator on this channel? Yeah.
Yeah.
That made me sad.
Yeah. I bet it did.
Yeah.
I bet it did.
Spent the reroll and everything. Didn't matter. But like, it's just...
He's a good data sheet.
He's a good data sheet. And then you have the Landspeeder Vengeance. Another very fast, cheap, good damage ratio. It's 125 for a twin-linked damage 3 blast weapon. That's it. There's like an assault cannon on it.
Wow.
But like, it's 125.
That's pretty good.
And it moves 12 or 14?
Probably 14. Speeders are generally 14.
Yeah, the Storm Speeders are 14. The old pattern ones might be 2 inches slower.
This is big. It's chunky. It might be 12.
It's 12 or 14. It's not slow.
No.
And it shoots a AP 3 damage 3 blast weapon. That's twin linked.
Yeah, that's
just pretty good.
It's pretty good.
And so, like, you can do good damage with Dark Angels. It gives you a shooting unit to help compensate for the lack of Oath buff. You do want to have a Thunderstrike in there, but like, You can get really good shooting out of Dark Angel units by just taking like a Thunder Strike and 3 Vengeances, and then you can fill it with whatever you want. You could put in the Line, you can put in Inner Circle Companions, you can put in Deathwing Knights. I don't think Deathwing Knights or Companions either of them are particularly amazing at the moment. Knights aren't bad, they're never bad, but their damage output is not really kept up with where the meta's at.
They also kind of lose combat in a lot of places where it looks like they wouldn't, because they get charged because they're slow, so they're the one getting charged. Yeah. And then they lose like 2 models, and then the 3 that are left don't win the fight, and then they're like, I have to fall back now.
Yeah, I kind of hate when that happens, but it does happen.
Yeah.
So like I think that Dark Angels are like in a good spot. I don't think that they're like amazing, but in my mind, they're just like a very perfectly balanced Space Marine chapter. And there are some Space Marine chapters that are just better than them.
Yeah, there's some that are not what one could call balanced.
Yep. Two come to mind.
Where would you put it? Would you put it like just above Custodes?
I wouldn't put them above Custodes.
But
Deathwing Knights lose fights to Custodians.
Yes, but it's not a one-on-one. Also, Custodians are the worst army in A. That's my hard line.
I really
hard line, dude.
Don't agree.
Hard line.
Dark Angels are good. They're not great.
Listen, if this is the only one we put below Custodians, I can accept it.
That's where I have them.
Okay. If it's the only one below, then I'm fine with it.
Okay. Yeah, nothing else will be below Custodians. It could be below Dark Angels, but we'll find out about that later.
That, by definition,
yeah.
It also be
so I'm okay with below Custodes.
Okay. We have sisters.
Yes.
We have sisters. Adepta Sororitas. They did get hit harder by the changes than I like. Not that I thought, but like other stuff has changed around, and
sure.
I still think they're a perfectly good army. I think they're actually a very good army, even still. They have 3 viable builds. They have Hallowed Martyrs. They have Bringers of Flame. They have Champions of Faith. All 3 of those are very good.
Love it.
I'm doing a group coaching on it, actually, real soon.
Okay.
Including the list that I took, or something close, the archetype I took to Worlds.
Okay.
But I do think they're not. We had them originally as the 5th best army in the game. I don't think that's...
Not quite there?
I don't think they're quite there.
That's fair.
I think they're probably going to tumble a couple spots, but probably no more than that. I would say probably in the Tau tier, either directly above or directly below. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts?
I would say below Tau.
Below Tau?
That's my read on it.
I could see that. It's still a very powerful.
Yeah,
army.
Maybe above Dark Angels.
No, it's above Custodes.
I'm gonna be honest.
I had a hard line, okay?
I know.
Hard line, and I bent it for you.
Yeah.
And now you're taking a mile, okay?
Line. Exactly.
No, it's above Custodes. We're done with this.
Of the opinion that of those 2 armies, the golden one is better.
Okay, so actually, I think Sisters are better than Custodes here. Champions of Faith is still a very strong army. And it has some very powerful things that it does. Mm-hmm. It also is really annoying for Catan to deal with because you have a lot of reanimating OC2 models that are -1 to wound. You can make -1 to hit. And then you also have the Volgons, which are a lot of power. So, like, I think they are better than Custodes. It's not like me memeing out. I think they are a better army than Custodes.
Do you actually, like, just like aside, do you actually think Champions is a good matchup into Catan? Because, like, I've just done a little bit of math on, like, Volgons into Catan, and I'm like, ooh, that's not it.
Yeah, so the power from the matchup doesn't straight up come from the Volgons.
Yeah.
It comes from the fact that you have the ability to kill Catan. Mm-hmm. Not all of them, but
like 1 a turn?
But 1 a turn. And then the Sacrosancts are really obnoxious. -1 to hit, -1 to wound. They hate that. Yeah. And then your OC2 reanimating.
Yeah. They can hold the objective around a Catan, definitely.
Yeah. The key is to make sure that the character is behind a wall and the unit is on the objective so that they can't precision your character.
2 is what I was worried about, is if 2 Catan hit. Is that, like, a problem?
Probably not that bad. Honestly, you might lose 1 unit, but, like, I have 3.
Fair enough.
And it's not the end of the world, honestly.
Be interested to see that sometime.
Yeah, I'd be happy to put that on the
All
channel.
right, so you want between Town Custodes?
That's where I would like them. Yes.
Okay,
I still think they are a very powerful army.
All right, so down a couple spots, but not dropping a tier.
No, nothing crazy.
Okay. And we're
also
actually...
Bringers is a very powerful army, and I think Hallowed Martyrs is also quite powerful. Although Hallowed Martyrs does not do the same thing into Catan.
Yeah. So we're running down to only a few armies left that haven't been ranked here, because we've already ranked Demons, because Scintillating really jumped up a lot. Are you good with Scintillating above Eldar? Because I'm okay with that, personally.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Admech.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, if we're going off of win rates, Admech has the highest win rate in the game somehow still. Really glad that they nerfed that army and it went down like 1%.
What do you mean somehow?
Well, it lost like 235 points, and then it went down from like 62% to 60%. And I'm like, oh,
Sure.
it doesn't have nearly as many event wins. It's just like this army is going positive at every event.
It still has great rules, right? It still has great rules. It lost
great power.
Lost some amount of units, but that's...
Las chickens are solid into Catan. It's the only army that can get enough las cannon shots together to like actually feel good about it.
But it can.
Because you can get real hits, real wounds sustained.
Yeah.
And then
sometimes 5s.
Crit 5s, plus 1 bullets to hit. Yeah, you can string together a lot of stuff on this one. I'm inclined to... Yeah, I honestly think I like Admech right there.
Above demons, above the rest of these?
I might put him below demons. I think Scintillating Legion is actually really good into Admech.
What's that?
The chickens just hand like every like Skitarii squad.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Here's 14
Yeah,
AP2 damage 3s.
Yeah, they don't like that.
Oh, wait, here's the second gun.
Also, you don't get to shoot them with the last chickens until... Oh, you still don't because they blew up your last chickens.
Yeah, they do kill the last chickens at actually a very reasonable clip. They also don't like just getting hit. Like, you lose your trash so quickly. Yeah. And then the trash is not good into demon trash because it's like a bunch of like, I'm anti-infantry 3+. I'm a beast.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say that that army is still quite good. You just lost some of the random wiggle room that GW gave you like a couple months ago.
I still think Admech's an incredibly powerful faction. I think I would just flip them with demons. Is my opinion is Scintillating's better.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, the head-to-head rarely like shouldn't matter, but often does.
Often does.
Often actually weighs in.
Yeah, and Admech is probably better than Sint into Necrons if we're like trying to like talk about it. But I don't see this as me bumping Admech down. I see it as me like trying to more accurately place Scintillating Legion.
All right, Necrons.
Necrons we've already ranked because they were C tier.
We have. Are they the 4th best army in the game? Well, no, they're not. First off, Blood Angels are going to tumble, but...
Yeah, I still have them as the top of A.
Okay.
And I think we just have the S tier to look at.
I think by impact, like impact on the meta, they are S++ tier. In that every single army has to consider how do I not auto lose to like 4 Catan. I hate it. It's so miserable.
I do hate when one of the top armies is this dominant. Or just this warping.
Also, everyone wants to play them because the Nightbringers model looks phenomenal. And
yeah, it's also not an expensive army to buy. It's not a hard army to paint.
Yeah.
If you are a Grey Knights player who is mad for the next 3 months, spend a couple, go to the LGS, go get a Necron army.
Yep. It's not that hard to paint up. I mean, it is counterable, but then they also have a fairly deep roster, right? Richard has played lists on our channel that are 0 to 5 Catan.
Yep.
0 to 4, I think? 0 to 4.
0 to 4. I don't think 0 is the right number.
I don't think 4 is the right number.
No, I think it's 2 to 3, and you just you figure out what's around it, what detachment you take. There's several good detachments and several good Catan, and
the one he played into me was 2 plus a -1 damage Silent King, and you know what? That's kind of 3.5 if you think about it. I do think
that is the best one.
Yeah, who's the best Catan? The Silent King with -1 damage. Yeah. It turns out, and then he also had Amintar, so it's kind of like 4 Catan if you think about it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, buddy. Boy. That army.
So the 3 armies in S tier.
The 3 armies in S tier. Let's start with the one that doesn't belong there, I think.
Yeah, Blood Angels is the one that feels like it should be a little lower than it is. It's not low.
I did not agree with it being up in S tier when they made the tier list, but you got to speak your truth. They have to speak their truth. I think people freak out a lot about when a melee army gets solid rules. I'm not sure why. But yes, people do freak out when like Rage Curse comes out and you're like, oh my god, this is broken. It's not. It's just a good melee army. Yeah. Like it has a lot of problems actually. It doesn't fall back and do anything, and all of its abilities to do damage are on the charge. Sans the reroll ones to it. That causes some serious issues if your opponent is hitting you as often as you're hitting them. Because then all of a sudden you're not hitting them as often as they're hitting you. Because they're hitting you and tying you up, and you hit them back a little bit, and then you can't do anything. And that's a real big problem. Now, if you're on the front foot, that army slams like a sack of bricks. Yep. But against good players, I have to assume that they're going to be interacting with me as much as I'm interacting with them. And at that point, Rage Cursed has some serious problems. Liberator Assault Group has the same thing, but it can fall back for 1 CP and do actions, or fall back and shoot charge, which is a safety valve for that. It's it's less powerful on its face, has less power than Rage Cursed. but it's still a good army.
Yeah.
I don't know which of the two are better because one of them is slightly less powerful,
Yeah.
but has a safety valve for the loss condition.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that current meta, I think Rage Cursed is slightly better than Lag, not by a tremendous amount.
No, I would probably tend to agree with that. And then my opinion is that Angelic Inheritors is better than both of them. In a singles context at the very least.
Sure.
That army is super flexible, super dynamic, has an answer to every scenario your opponent can pose to you, and comes with a ton of rerolls. I think it's still very good, but I don't think it's S tier.
So where do you have Blood Angels then?
I think I would have Blood Angels around the like probably above Tau.
Above Tau?
Above Tau.
Okay. Not like above Dark Angels?
They're above Dark Angels for sure, but they're also above other things.
Oh, I see. I
Yes.
see. Okay, so you say between Drukhari and Tau is where you'd put them.
I mean, I could see them above Drukhari. Like, I could see them in that area. Yeah. If I wanted to go to an event right now with the highest odds of winning it, I would probably take my Inheritors.
Yeah. I will say I would put it above. Well, all right. So you take it over your Eldar.
I have not finished finessing the Eldar army together yet. It's
I'm
largely a combination of power and familiarity.
Yeah. I'm of the opinion that Blood Angels are better than Drukhari.
I'm super down for that. Super down for that. I have as you know, I have an incredibly high opinion of Angelic Inheritors. If someone goes through the work to actually learn how to properly play that army, that army is an answer for every scenario. And I love it. My favorite army of the edition, for sure.
All right. And that leaves us just to the two armies remaining in S tier, which is Astra Militarum and Ultramarines.
Yes.
I think we can kind of talk about these together because they're the last two things. I'm of the opinion that they both stay there.
I'm super of the opinion that they both stay there. And now we're just haggling over where does each of them go.
I have an opinion that you need to flip the order.
I know you have that opinion. Now you play both of these armies.
I do.
So I am going to default to your opinion on this one because you
Flip
play
'em.
both of them.
Yeah.
I still have an incredibly high opinion of just how crazy Ultramarines are.
Look, I'm saying they're the second best army in the game. I'm not trying to tell you they're bad.
As I said, you play both of these armies. I'm going to go with your take on it. But Ultramarines are the most dynamic army in the entire game because you can do literally anything your heart desires with them. They have one of the best melee units in the game. They have some of the best shooting in the game. They have some of the best just CP manipulation and generation in the game, as well as having a Vector and reactive moves out the wazoo. The Victrix Guard going down to 3 wounds and going to 220 points sometimes is a nerf and sometimes is a buff, depending on what your opponent's hitting you with.
That's true.
If your opponent's hitting you with damage 1, well, that's really, realistically, not most of the time what they're hitting Victrix Guard with, Ajraman notwithstanding. If your opponent's hitting you with damage 2, it's identical, and your unit went down in cost.
3 damage and mortal wounds is much faster, though.
3 damage and mortal wounds is much faster. Now, they did go down in cost, but like all elite melee units are vulnerable to damage 3. That's just kind of how life is.
Yep.
And, okay, sure, you now have to play around anti-heavy melee shooting.
Yep.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. And they're one of the better of the melee, infantry in combat. Certainly, probably the best of the Space Marine units that fill that slot. They're better than Blade Guard, Head Taker, Sword Brethren is like the 4 that I would put in the same role. Inner Circle Companions, 5.
And they're better than all those.
Yeah, I think they're the best of those. They're the most expensive, and I think fairly so.
Better than Deathwing Knights.
I group them.
Right,
I group them
Sanguinary
separately.
Guard are a different role too.
Yeah.
Victrix as well.
Yeah, Sangard and Terminators I have their own category. I love Victrix Guard, but I think you just take a unit, and that unit's really good. And I think if you take 2 units, you're a little too susceptible to one of the 2 gets caught. The cape gets shot by the stubber of a Rogel Dorn, and you lose 6 of them.
I think you can make that argument, but honestly, with their price point, I could still see taking 20 man. Like 18 plus the 2 from Calgar.
Yeah.
That is still just a very nasty melee presence, and it's not going to break the bank too much. It's expensive, sure, but you're getting what you paid for. And now you just have to play the elite melee army the same way everyone else does, which is you have to avoid the damage 3 stuff and either use reactive moves and stuff like that to stay safe from it, or use your guns to intimidate their damage 3 shooting, so it has to stay behind walls and let your infantry operate. I mean, I would still say that 20 Victrix Guard is still an S tier army. I think 6 is still an S tier army. I think 12 is still an S tier army. I think 0 and just tons of shooting is why would you do that? You can just take the Calgar brick. But
Yeah.
you could if you wanted to. And then the main issue, honestly, with the army is just how efficient the shooting core is behind it and how tough to deal with that is.
The shooting core behind it's amazing.
Yeah, the shooting core is actually the real problem this whole time. Because dealing with the Victrix Guard, everyone can deal with Victrix Guard, even in the past.
Yeah.
The problem is it's not a Victrix Guard unit delivered to you on a platter that lets you wail on it. It is a Victrix Guard unit that is supported by the best shooting core in the game behind it. And at that point, with reactive moves and blood surges and stuff, it becomes very difficult to deal with it in a way that doesn't get you tabled. So, that being said, Ultramarines very strong. Very, very strong. Very flexible. Very good.
Yep. Still great.
Still great. Bottom of S tier.
Bottom of S tier. I'm of the opinion that Guard just does it better.
Speak your truth. Speak it. Preach.
Ultramarines, everything that you said is correct. They are very good. They also are relatively elite. They're not overpriced, but they are expensive.
Yeah.
Not overpriced.
Guard, on the other hand.
Guard gets so much stuff.
Yep.
So much stuff. You get so many bodies, you get so many units, you get so many guns, you get so much melee. You get Bulgrin, which just solves melee pressure armies, while like all of them.
Yeah. It's, yep.
Yeah. While also being useful in shooting matchups.
It takes a melee army about 2 turns of serious activation to chew through Bulgrin.
And you just don't get those. You just don't get that time.
No.
And the Rogaldorn Commander and Rogaldorns are incredible tanks. They are very durable, having a 2-up save with Armor of Contempt, Access, and Smoke. I'm talking about Grizzled Company here, to be clear. With rerolls built in and extra rerolls built in. And if you're on an objective, I get even more rerolls. And I can get +1 AP. I can get Ignorance Cover. I can get a different +1 AP if I wanted to build into my list. You can build as many buffs onto this as you want or as you feel you need. You get everything as far as a roll goes. I have great melee tar pits. I have great counter charge. I have great deep strike shooting. I have great rapiding risk melee. I have cheap contesting pieces.
Caster can
I have
also
great
fill none of
objective
those
holders.
great.
I have scouting transports. I have scouting damage. I have scouting units. I have skirmishes.
Yep.
I have everything cheap, and it all fits in the same list.
A very flexible army roll, too. Any unit in your army can either move +3. It's like tokens.
Orders are incredible.
It's like the Eldar battle focus tokens.
Yeah. I just have to do it in my turn instead of yours, but I get as many as I want.
Yep.
And I can spend a CP to do it in yours.
And you can spend a CP to do it in mine.
Yes. Yeah, it's amazing. I think Guard is the best army in the game. I got to play Guard into Ultramarines twice at a Las Vegas team tournament. That was with 4-win Victrix Guard. That was before Rogaldorn could just like lift most of a squad. And it doesn't matter if they're on Rep X's, doesn't matter if they're on Victrix Guard. Guard just has more stuff and wins. I think that the latest version of my list that doesn't have to build for 4-win Victrix Guard and instead is building for 3-win Victrix Guard, I think is way better.
Yep, now you can build for Catan.
Yeah, which is great.
Can still beat the crap out of Catan.
Yep, and I think just adding in all the extra units gives you so much more dynamic mobility. Like the team's version of my list was very like grindy, slow. I'm trying to play anything to a 12-13 and never lose. And now that I don't have to, I'm not worried about getting rushed down by Victrix because if they try, it's like Dorn, dead, charge, all 18
Yeah, you can't do the degenerate plan of just put my entire army in the center of the board and tell
I'll just kill all 20.
Yeah, which, again, every elite melee army has to set up their hit. Victrix Guard got away with murder for a long time, and now they have to play the game like everyone else.
Yeah, so which makes them the second best army in the game.
Yes.
And so now it's like, yeah, well, we'll just play the game of, like, you're going to play the long, slow game with the Guard? Okay.
That's really
Here's
annoying
my 65 points of 30 OC onto 2 objectives at once.
Yep, or more annoying is like, I'm towed on the objective with 2 models. That's either 4 or 6 OC, depending on if you put a unit on it.
Yeah.
It's like, and if you swing on the unit, it'll heal models onto it and then boost the OC.
That's true.
Like,
Heroic a Bulgrin squad on, yeah.
And then boost their OC.
Sure.
It just becomes very annoying to take Guard objectives away because they're tougher than you want them to be. Mm-hmm. They just are, especially if you're shooting them.
It's true.
And then they also can just regrow models and boost their OC to the point where you're like, yeah, these guardsmen are 3 OC, so good luck just taking the point from me.
Yep.
And yeah, that's not a great place to be as the opponent. Mm-hmm. In addition, you have these 20-man squads that can also be quite tough, and you have to one-tap them, or
Pretty
else
much.
they regrow onto the objective and then boost their OC to be OC3.
Yeah.
Or 4, you can get up to 4, right?
You can get up to 4 if you have a command squad attached. Yeah. Just, it plays the game of Warhammer too well.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can't fall back and act. And so if you're ever able to get past the screens and the defense lines of the guard is not a good plan B army. If you can get around guard's overwhelmingly powerful plan A of I screen, I shoot, I push, I screen, I shoot, I push. If you can get around that, guard falls apart faster than Space Marines do. If you make a mistake, guard falls apart faster than Space Marines do. And if you don't make a mistake, you don't have ins.
Yeah. Where you're going to hit the one of 4 really obnoxiously tough infantry units, get dropped on by Scions, get shot by Kasrkin, get shot by Dorns, kill that stuff, but you don't really feel good about it because it already traded up 2-1. Like, yeah, it's not good.
I don't know. There's a game out today, in the Worm, actually, where you can watch my latest guard list. I've updated it to, I think, actually be much stronger since Las Vegas Team Tournament.
Sweet.
I think once I wasn't building specifically to never lose 220 Victrix Guard. Now that I don't have to do that, the chains are off, and I'm like, I'll just build for everyone else. And now it's just like, all right, this is problematic.
Yes.
And
guard is very good.
And it's a very good, it's a very fun, it's a very interesting game. I won't spoil the results, but some spoilers.
It was a wacky game.
It was a wacky game. I will say it demonstrates why I believe guard are where they are.
Yeah, guard are very good. I mean, I can't harp on enough about the +1 OC order. That order is sneakily just the best one.
Yeah.
Because it makes stealing objectives away miserable. You know what you have to do in order to win a game of 40K? You have to take objectives away.
Yeah.
You can't just allow a guard opponent to be like blah, 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 all over every objective on the board with 20 mans or 10 mans or Kasrkin or Scions or Bolgrin or whatever. You can't just let them be there doing that. You have to take those objectives away or you're just going to lose on the scoreboard.
Can't do it.
And taking the objectives away is miserable when one little dude can be OC4. Like... Okay, sure. OC3, 2 guys on the objective. OC3, sorry, you're 5 JPI. Don't actually take it because I healed. I power consolidated like 5 models remaining. Power consolidated, auto passed the battle shock, reanimated 2 models. Boom, my objective. I'm like, okay, sure, man. Like that's really annoying to deal with. And then behind that are Dorns lobbing shots from yard. Just, all right, very, very, very tough to get around that.
Yeah, for me. The quantity of things, the reliability of the damage that guard have previously lacked, just puts them above. I think the best
I can see that.
And we haven't even mentioned Recon Guard, which if you have infinite patience, the back of an 18-year-old, and also a lot of models, I think Recon Guard played perfectly is just like so hard to stop. If you either beat it in the list writing phase or you don't.
Yeah.
You know what is physically incapable of beating Recon Guard? Necrons.
Yeah.
There just isn't a way.
Just can't do it. What are you going to do? Out-OC them? Lol.
Can't.
Jokes.
Yeah. Put all 20 Necron warriors on the objective, they're dead. And like if they stay there in line of sight, then you lose the objective because then there's 90 OC of guardsmen on it.
Yep. And then they have another 3,000 OC behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you try to play the slow game into them, then they're just going to win. Their objective control is too high. They will take all the objectives from you.
Yep.
You will not contest their objectives away.
Yep.
So you have to take the fight to them. And if you're not equipped to do that, you just lose. And if you are equipped to do that, you're playing a game where they can still score 15s as you're tabling them.
Yeah. If you've got an army that can kill Recon and you've played the game once or twice, it can be done. I'm not trying to tell you it's undoable. But if you have the tools and it's your first game into Recon, it's probably not going to work.
No, you saw that with actually Folger into Wesley's game at LVO. I think if Folger had played that a second time, his army does have the capability of dealing with Recon Guard. But he played it for the first time and lost.
Yep. Yeah. I think that's the case. And so I think Guard has genuinely 2 of the strongest builds in the game right now. Ultramarines, you can say, like it's all like Hydras of the same build, right? There's like 5 Ultramarine builds, but they're all kind of the same thing.
They're all a different detachment that does the exact
I realized
same
that like
thing.
my Stormlance and my Blade of Ultramar list are actually like 2 units apart. It's like instead of a Storm Raven and a Dreadnought, I have 2 Rep X's. I'm like, oh, no, they're not. It's the same.
It's the same list.
And then it's an entirely different detachment, and I lose a 10-point enhancement. It's like, all right, that's it.
Wow, okay. How
That's
novel.
I know, yeah, it's the same thing. So that's where I have it right now, and I think I'm happy with that as a final tier list.
Yeah, I think that looks pretty solid. And I will say, I think the game is in a phenomenal place right now because I would say everything out of the real armies. I'm sorry, Charlie, my friend who plays Imperial Agents. Out of the real armies, I would say there's only 5 that are currently like sad outside the window with big eyes in the cold. Like, there's only like 5 armies that are having real serious problems.
Hey, Tucker, can you put the live chat on that screen and sort it by super chats, please?
Yep, by like fan funding or something.
Yeah,
like
funding
that.
something. Yeah. It'll be very obvious in the drop down. Cool. And so, thank you everyone who has watched this video. If you're leaving us now before we answer the super chats, let us know what you think. Leave a like, comment, share, subscribe. All these things really do help us out. And that's it.
That's it. That's it for the tier list. But I will say that we are going to address our super chats now.
We are indeed. So let's go through the list. Thank you so much, Garback, who has upgraded their membership to War Room Silver. Thank you very, very much, Garback. We appreciate your support. We have a super chat that I believe is going to be recurring from Jesus Christ, which is what them hogs do. This is a reference to something. I don't know what it is. Do you know what that's a reference to?
I don't, unfortunately.
All right. Well, I'm so sorry.
I usually get his references, but
this one I'm missing.
What them hogs do? Whatever they want, I think.
Apparently, you know, these feral hogs. Then John Doe, welcome to the War and Bronze. Thank you so much for the support, John Doe. We really appreciate it. Next super chat is from Kraydon. Thank you so much. Thanks, Jack, for being extra active in the Eldari Discord room lately. We're all trying to figure out direction, and your advice is appreciated.
Yeah, me too. I'm also trying to figure it out.
If you're in the war room, that is where you get access to that Discord.
That's right. I don't keep my army secret.
Link in the description below. And then from I'm Too Random, who's been a member of the Worm Gold for 14 months. What would it take to get Templars to a solid A tier or 52% win rate kind of army? Is it doable without a rewrite or janky points? I really want to see Bastion in action more to see where it is. I think your take on Templars was that they were a little bit too fair, right?
They're a little bit too fair. They're a little bit too slow. They're a little bit just... They need just a bit more like flexibility, and they need a bit more speed and like ability to engage your opponent. I think they just need a rewrite. I think their codex is or their codex supplement, I suppose, is very bad.
Yeah.
I would say, I just think maybe not well done, because there's a couple units in there that are pretty solid and everything else is like trash. And the detachments are terrible.
Yeah.
And so there's just no depth there. You kind of just have 3-4 units that do their thing, and that thing is all right.
I really think one new detachment can fix everything.
I think one new detachment can help a lot. I would love to see some of the units just be rewritten, man.
Yeah.
Some of those units are dog.
That's fair. Hey, look, one good detachment could include some enhancements, right? All you need is a broken enhancement that only goes on the Crusade Ancient.
Sure, man. I guess.
Time
for me to execrate them.
Yeah, it's basically a rewrite. And next super chat is from Tom Cat. Thank you so much. Nice to see Orks back in S tier. Just a sarcastic rant from Tomcat, thanking us for making super content. Thank you, Tomcat. We appreciate the support. Look, I want to make Michael play the can wall. Like the Dread Mob. I think he would enjoy that
quite a lot.
I don't think we can trick Michael into running Gazkul and 20 boys into one more shooting army. But
listen, we all
maybe
have
the can
our
wall
army that we
love,
but that we don't really like where it's at right now.
Yeah, I love Tyranids. I don't like them.
For you, it's Tyranids. For him, it's Orks. For me, it's Custodes. And for Richard and Nick, it's Tau and Demons somehow. But
yeah, I don't really understand how that happened. Jonathan Haynes, who's been a member for 32 months. Good morning to my favorite 2 Art of War creators. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jonathan Haynes. We really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much.
Great. Ryan G has an accusation for you. Jack, stop lying.
Never.
The real issue is obviously the Gloctopus, not the Katana. You know, the Gloctopus that holds the enhancement is a problem. However,
the -1 damaged one?
Yes. The enhancement, as in the only one you take, yes.
Yes.
That
guy is a bastard. I can get on board with that for you.
Yeah, he's a tough cookie. Next is Bonsai Kidding Gaming. Thank you so much. You've been a member for 13 months. Jack, how are you feeling about Sisters right now between Hallowed Martyrs and Champions of Faith? If you had to play on GW Train, how would that change your list? Lastly, are Exorcists still a pretty paperweight? Cheers. Thank you for the support, Bonsai Kitty.
So Exorcists, I think, are just kind of overpriced. If you take too many of them, you're just going to have not a great army to play the game with. And you can shoot your opponent eventually, but that'll pay off in like turn 4 or 5, and you probably are going to fall behind. I prefer Champions of Faith to Hallowed Martyrs quite significantly, actually. I think the A plan of it just functions a lot better in Champions of Faith with better Sacrosanct, OC2, strats to help mitigate some of the downsides of those units. And on GW terrain, I would play basically the same list I've been playing because GW terrain is what I usually play on.
Yeah, sure.
On WTC terrain, I still think that the Champions is a very good army. I have heard tell that Hallowed Martyrs is a lot better on WTC terrain than on GW, but I still think Champions of Faith just has like some pretty tremendous rules.
Yeah. That makes sense to me. Jonathan Haynes with the super chat asking me, how do Raven Guard Vanguard veterans do into Catan? I think the real strength of the Raven Guard Vanguard veterans into Catan specifically is that they are much faster than them, and they are ideally getting around the Catan. My take is that the current Raven Guard Shadowmark build would have one 10-man Van Vet squad. Strikes unit, still very, very solid. It doesn't kill a Catan by itself. If you walk it into Melter range with Oath, you can definitely do some damage. And then if you also have a Centurion squad pointed at it, you can probably get a Catan down with like a Centurion squad with Oath and a Vanguard Veteran squad in Melter range with Oath.
Yeah.
And then also the combat. That probably gets it. But it's a little closer than I'm comfortable with. And so I think that this would be very much be a case if you're trying to use the mobility of Shadowmark and to jump pack infantry all over the place to kill everything that is not on a 40 millimeter to 80 millimeter base. And then you're trying to just like strand the Catan and kill one or two of them. I don't think you're trying to kill all five.
No, if you try to kill all five, it's just not a realistic thing. You have to kill them to the point where they lose the game.
Yeah, it's like kill everything else, find the area of the board that only has one Catan on it, mob him.
Yep,
like,
dump him.
Yeah, Sense, Inceptors, Van Vets. Die. Jesus Christ is another super chat telling us that it's Hogwatch 2026. I still don't understand this reference.
I'm here for it, though.
Okay. Thor's Boys, welcome to the Worm Silver. Thank you so much. And then the John Apocalypse with the Tau question. What is the best Tau detachment units against Catan? I'm of the opinion that it's Montka, because you get lethal hits. Yes. And the Catan can't afford to wait till turn 4.
Yes, I would say it's probably Montka. After that, I like Ret Cadre.
Yeah, Ret Cadre's cool. Kion, still not bad.
But Montka against Catan is the lethal hits. It's the way to go.
It's the lethal hits. Also, the reroll hits stratagem for your entire army for the rest of the game against the thing that killed the Piranha.
Yeah, that would be a Catan.
That's the one. That's the Catan that killed the Piranha. Then you shoot him with lethal hits, reroll hits for the army. Yeah, that's how you do it. And Red Room says, what are the averages with World Leaders and Emperor's Children? Do not matter when your average is against Catan. T11, 16 wounds, invuln, feel no pain, -1 damage, and yes, they heal.
Average absolutely still matters. No matter what profile you're going into, average matters.
Catan are less respectful of average than the average bear.
Yes, they spike quite often, but you still need to be able to kill them. And they're not immortal, okay? They're not literally immortal. They're just very, very hard to kill.
Yeah.
So averages still definitely do matter. Now, I will say with World Leaders, if you swing into them and don't kill them, you are very sad. You're a sad little boy. I will say that.
Yep. All right, our next super chat is for Jack. Engron or Footprints in this meta? I'm not understanding the Engron love. Well, I know you've got a preference.
I don't particularly like Engron very much. He is not even that cheap. He's like relatively cheap. He hits decently hard. He moves decently quick.
Like 14, right?
He moves 14, but on a big base that's go around walls, it like ends up being less than you want.
Sure.
A decent amount of time. He's not bad. I know some people who quite like him. I'm not one of them. I don't particularly rate him that much. I've played a couple games with him. Still not that big a fan. I'd really love it if they just made him cool and interesting in some way rather than just big dumb man
stick
walking around.
Yeah,
that's not my favorite thing. I, on the other hand, have a very high opinion of the Footprints. I think CP economy is a big deal. The lone op that's very hard to kill is a big deal for forcing your opponent forward, and he does hit quite hard. Not as far as Angron,
sure does, yeah,
but he does hit quite hard.
Okay,
it's also much cheaper.
Yeah, that is true. I'm too random. All these Death Watch players make 9-inch charges. Jack, show me on the doll where Gator hurt you.
So if actually what you want to check out is LVO about a year ago. That one was less than fun.
Yeah.
Actually, the game was great, but I've also personally witnessed the last 2 games I've seen with Death Watch. The Death Watch player just like bombs 2 9-inch charges and is like, cool, well that, all right.
Good for them. Yeah. I'm not that kind of gamer. All right, next is from TSA Omengde.
Salmengda, maybe?
Sorry about that. Yep. Drukhari in A tier. Darn it, Scary. The bomber's already 245 points. But think about how much nicer 250 sounds. Yeah. Actually, I think it really should be 255, so you can't put 2 of them in reserves, because that's the big problem.
Hell yeah.
So you know what? Just 10 more points, James Workshop.
We can get 10 more points together.
Steven asks, what do we think is the best T-Sons build?
That's tough to say, actually.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I really wish we had Michael here. Michael is our T-Sons expert, but I'm sure he'll be back soon. I really like Michael's Hex Warp build. I think it's really cool and creative, and it leans on the triple wing Demon Prince, something that I can always respect. So I'm going to go with Michael's Hex Warp build. But I do think that terrain has to be accounted for, because I know he really likes his Sandstorm. What is the name of the detachment? It's probably Cult of Iron or something silly. But
it's find out for you. I will find out.
It's going to be a band.
It's not. It might be a band, actually.
Yeah, Magic Gun Band.
It is
non-magic missile.
Warpforged Cabal.
Warpforged Cabal. That one. That one, I think if the terrain accommodates it, is really good. You get really solid rules, just like a bunch of rerolls on tanks that are suddenly incredibly cheap.
Yep.
I like his Hex Warp Thrall Band. Yeah, Warpforged Cabal, Hex Warp Thrall Band, Warp Cult Magic. T-Sons confuse me even when I'm not playing against them.
It's always 3 words that sound basically the same.
Yeah, there's 6 words and 3 of them make every detachment name.
And then Grand Coven, which thank God.
Is Grand Coven Cult of Magic? Are those the same thing? Yes. Okay, one of them is the Index, one of them is Codex name, and I don't remember which is which. Cool.
Grand Coven's
I actually don't like the Index detachment that much. I think it's fine. I like the other ones better.
I think it's a good army. It's very Magnus-centric, so it puts your game plan on Magnus.
I guess now I don't like building around a T11 4-up invuln model that doesn't heal.
He's different to a Catan because the Catan has to get up in your guts to try to play the game, and Magnus is flitting around the back, just lobbing bombs like Steph. Mm-hmm. I understand he's a basketball player.
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
A long range threat.
Yeah. Got it.
All right. This is definitely a question for Jack.
Well, we have John McCardell.
Oh, we do.
Or John McCardle.
John McCardle. The absolute hero of the Imperium, giving 20 Art of War memberships. Thank you so much, John. You are an absolute legend.
Have I told you the story about John McCardle at LVO?
McCardle?
That yes. So his name's actually pronounced John McCardle.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
And he's let us believe for ages that it's McCardell because he finds it funny. He told me not to tell you guys, but I did it. Sorry, John.
On camera, that's brutal.
Yeah, that's rough.
No respect for the man's wishes.
Yeah.
Well, now I know.
Now you know. Just don't tell Richard.
Oh, of course. All right, deal.
No, nobody here tells Richard.
Nobody tells Richard.
All
right. Ares VT.
If you were to build a list without Vol for sisters, how would you build it?
That's you, buddy.
Yeah, this one's tough.
Yeah, that is a hard question.
That's a load-bearing unit. If you want to build a list, but without the ability to kill your opponent and anyone they've ever met, how would you like to do that? That's a toughie, because for 385, that unit sure does slam. Mm-hmm. Probably Hallowed Martyrs, and you just include more melee units. But they really do want to have a shooting unit behind it that blows people up.
Yeah.
Notch Champions of Faith, because that's the best attachment. It probably honestly is Bringers of Flame, and you just take 2 more Immolators. Yeah, but fair. They also get very good in Bringers of Flame.
Really are.
But yeah, it probably is Bringers of Flame, but you take 2 more Immolators.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Up to 6.
Ooh, boy. This next question from
Giacomo Torelli.
Thank you very much. What do I think about a regular Randlater in Blade of Ultramar instead of a Repex? You lose some shooting output, but it is a bit more durable, and it does give it transport for Calgar and 6 Victrix if you run G-Man and don't need Calgar on the board. So on GW terrain, I can 100% endorse 1 Landraider, 1 Repex. Totally fine with that. No problem at all. I think that it's very board dependent because Landraider's ability to move around the table is very table dependent. Repexes are noticeably thinner than a Landraider.
It's 6 versus 4 inches, I think.
Yeah, it's a solid 2 inches thinner. And so a Repex can actually leave the ruin on GW layout 1.
A Landraider
cannot. WTC similar problems on many tables.
Lander's 6 inches wide because of the sponsons. I've had to measure it.
Massive.
It's rough.
If you can move a Land Raider, it is a very good data sheet right now, and I'm totally down for it. If I didn't know the terrain in advance, I get a little bit nervous about whether or not I can move my big 220 point tank that needs to see people to shoot. And so I default to the Rep-X, but I think if I knew the terrain in advance and I thought this was a table that I could move a Land Raider on, I would be down. Because I think the Land Raider is still really good in Space Marines as it is in most factions at the moment.
Yeah, it turns out 220 hits the cheap
220 is just not that expensive.
Just not that expensive.
Next one is a Grey Knight question.
Henrik Ritterheim, is there any way of making Banishers Grey Knights competitive? There is. You are going to have to work substantially harder than your opponent. But that is, if you know what you're doing, it's very unlikely this is the second or higher time that they've played into Banishers.
Yeah.
Most of the time you'll be catching people on their first rep into you, which is pretty cool. Pretty neat. You basically play Banishers like a scoring denial army, and you teleport away when they try to do things with mists or Shadows of Anarch. Now, if I were to play Banishers, I would probably legitimately play 30 Terminators or 30 Paladins and just
lean on
18-inch lone ops and get onto objectives, deny them. Your opponent moves nearby, you pick up, you rapid ingress somewhere else, you hit them somewhere else.
Cool.
If you get super duper proficient with that playstyle, you can do some stuff that other people will not be able to do.
That's cool.
And as I said, you'll catch people on their first reps, and yeah, you can do quite well with that. You will have to work a lot harder than your opponent, but that's what it is.
Nature of the beast on that one.
Yep. All right. S. Blanco TX also is double Slaughterbound plus 3 Exalted Overkill in this men in place of Vanguard. No, I have double Slaughterbound plus triple Exalted in, or 2 units of Slaughterbounds plus Exalted in my list currently. They're just a very good unit.
Yeah. It's very hard, and you kind of need that in the current meta.
Yes, you do. You absolutely do.
All right. We have a super chat from the New Man, who has been a member of Warm Gold for 38 months. Thank you so much, New Man. That is a lot of support. Would Art of War take Orks to an event? If not, why? If only teams, what matchups do you favor Orks or keep Orks away from? Wog to Warboss Man.
First, before you answer that, I want to point out that it depends what kind of tournament you're going to.
Yep.
If we all the time we take we take lists to events and we're having a good time, right? All the time that we do that. If you're going to like an event that you want to try your hardest for, then probably no. But
yeah,
also, I mean, listen, I take armies that I want to just have fun with because it's a fun hobby, you know?
Yeah.
But
I mean, that's at the end of the day, you know, I want to get Michael on this one.
Yeah.
I would say that if I were to answer for Michael, if I were to guess, because I can't answer for Michael, I would guess that Michael wouldn't take it if he's trying his absolute hardest.
I don't think so, no.
But if I were to, or if I were to try to talk Michael into it, I would try to talk him into taking a weird orc list. Because there is still some good stuff in orcs. I would try to say, hey, take Dreadmob, because like, I bet most games you're going to play against someone who's never played against Dreadmob before. I wouldn't try to just take Warhorde with Gaz and 20 boys and hope that it gets out of the battle wagon and everything's okay.
Yeah,
I wouldn't try that.
No. It's a lot of points, and anyway, regardless, I don't think he would take it to a tournament where he's trying his hardest.
Yeah,
I would be shocked if he disagreed with that. But if he's going to like a local event, wants to horse around with his orcs that he loves, then absolutely.
There we go. All right. So our next super chat is again from Jesus Christ. Hogs or hogs? I'm going with hogs.
I'm going with hogs. I gotta go with hogs.
Yeah, feral ideally. And our last super chat is from Danny ELE. Okay, so I think 25 Land Raiders is the maximum for 5-man teams.
How can that be? Because there's only one of them that gets to take more than...
The Grey Knights could as well.
Oh, they have multiple types.
They have the Crusader, I believe. So okay. I think you could take 6/6, which is 12.
Yeah.
And then I don't think you go higher than 3/3/3, which is 21. Does Grey Knights also get the Redeemer?
I think they do. And also, I think it's cheap enough in those armies that you can take more than 6 in one army. If you really... You can take 8. Tucker just held up.
Hold on. 9 Land Raiders.
Like that.
9 times 220. No, that's not going to fit. Okay, so 8 Land Raiders twice. Yeah, so 25 is the max for 5-man teams. Yes, that is the max.
Insane.
I think only a really cool, dedicated group of friends would be willing to take 5 Land Raider lists
play.
A 5.
I don't want to play Land Raider Swarm to the Tampa 5 man. I don't want to do that. We've had this discussion.
And a dedicated group of friends who truly support each other and each other's friendship.
I don't.
And really
there's
have
so many
each
cool
other's
armies
backs.
out there. Why am I running triple Land Raider people?
You're not. You're running 8 Land Raiders at people, Jack.
But that makes me feel bad. I don't want to do that.
Well, I think that is going to wrap us for today, folks. So, thank you so much for hanging out with us for this one. This was a long one, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure that if you did like it, you liked the video. Leave a comment, share with your friends, subscribe. You can also become a member of The War Room by either clicking on the link in the description below. That's thewarroom.vhx.tv, where you can get a free 3-day trial. Or you can become a member right here through YouTube Gold. Either one of those will work, and that is how you get access to The War Room. That's where we put 2 additional games a week for 3 total. Jack Theory, Know Thy Enemy. We put list breakdowns for all these lists that we're talking about. You can go see Jack play games with Blood Angels if you want to know why he likes Angelic Inheritors so much. You can go watch me play games with Guard if you want to know why I like Guard so much right now. There's a game that came out just today of Guard versus Necrons, 2 of what we perceive to be the 3 best armies in the game. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. We will see you all next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now.